Welcome to Dom's Corner, everybody. I am, of course, your host, Dom Martino, and we are here to talk about Star Wars Episode 9, The Rise of Skywalker today. Real quick, if you like the content that we've been putting out here, please hit that like button below, subscribe to the channel, and leave some feedbacks in the comments section. And if you don't like the content, we'll just do all that anyway, because it takes 2 seconds. All right, Adam is my first panelist here today. How you doing, Adam?
Not too shabby. How are you?
Pretty well, man. Pretty well. Appreciate you asking. I also have Mark Earhart here with me. How you doing, Mark?
Doing all right.
Right on, bud. And then I also have Ian Up Down Schick. How you doing, Ian?
Up down shit. Wait, up down Schick.
Up down Schick. You were up and down like constantly in that last one we did.
Oh yeah, I'm sorry about that. I had to piss like crazy. I'm doing great though. I got some whiskey in my golf dad cup.
Right on, dude. Oh, right on.
How are you doing, bud?
I'm doing very well. I appreciate you asking. I had a really pretty easy going day. Watched some Rise of Skywalker, and I'm ready to talk about it. So
cool. Positive thought. I gotta get up.
Yeah, of course. All right, so here we I expect as much from you. All right, so let's talk about Star Wars Episode 9, The Rise of Skywalker. Well, first I'll start with the time surrounding this release. I'm sure a lot of us remember this. Not such a great time to be a Star Wars fan. I mean, I always kept my hopes up. I know a lot of people were really skeptical about the Rise of Skywalker. Then I think it was right around when Star Wars Celebration happened, about a year and a half or so after The Last Jedi, and then the trailer drops and people get excited again. They had that really awesome panel beforehand, and yeah, I don't know. I mean, people were excited, but still kind of skeptical. I myself just, kind of remained excited. I figured people were going to enjoy this one for the most part, and I mean, I think that the fans really did. I mean, you had J.J. Abrams directing. I mean, there was a whole mess surrounding that, unfortunately. I mean, Colin Trevorrow was originally going to write and direct, and he got fired for creative differences. And then he had who was it? So JJ comes in, and then he also, on top of that, they had to hire in Chris Terrio because they didn't like JJ's original idea. A whole entire mess. But movie comes out, fans were high on it, critics didn't seem to be too high on it. Adam, what was it like for you surrounding the release?
When the trailer dropped, I was at school on a break from class, and of course I had all audio engineer nerds around me, which I think is probably a requirement to be an audio engineer. You have to be a Star Wars fan. So I had like a whole crowd of people surrounding my phone watching the trailer right when it dropped. And everyone's jaws dropped on the floor because you heard Palpatine in the trailer, and everyone freaked out. So it was really exciting. I think this was the only one I actually didn't watch the first showing because we had just moved to California and I'd started interning and a whole bunch of stuff. But fun thing, I did get to watch it in the Chinese theater in Hollywood, the one where they do most of the red carpet premieres and stuff. Yeah. So I did get to watch it in that theater, which is pretty cool to get to say. So yeah, it was cool. It wasn't as exciting as going to the first showing, but
he still made an event of it. That's all that matters. Mark, what was it like for you leading up to the release of this?
I was extremely excited.
That's good.
Ready to bounce back from that Last Jedi stuff. Wanting and hoping that this thing is going to redeem the franchise. Very, very excited. Did go to the first showing, IMAX. Definitely had to be there for that. Of course, packed theater. It was great. Loved it.
Ian, leading up to the release, how was it for you?
Personally, I was stoked. I was absolutely stoked. So I kind of just watched that one trailer and I was like, I'm not gonna watch anything else because personally, I think trailers spoil way too much whenever you watch them. So whenever something comes out, I'll watch the first trailer and then nothing else ever. So I was pretty stoked about it. People were trying to tell me, "Oh, this theory, this theory, this theory." I'm like, "Shut up, shut up."
That's
Stop
how you
it.
end up disappointed, pretty much.
Huh? Yeah,
That's
yeah,
pretty
it
much how
is.
you end up disappointed. Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't want to be disappointed with this one like I was originally with part 8. You know what I'm saying? So, I was stoked. I was stoked for it. Then release date was coming around, and I put off watching it because I wanted to watch this one in kind of an empty theater myself. And also, my friend was like, "Yo, I want to watch all the." My friend Jacob, he was like, "Yo, I want to watch all the Star Wars movies before we watch this last one because it's gonna be like the last one, probably for a very long time." So let's watch all those before we go to the movies. So I was like, okay, so at this point, let's try to get it all done. We can go like on Christmas Day, just because they're open on Christmas Day. Nobody's going to be there, so we just went, and it was a fantastic experience. Theater had a few people, not a lot, so it was nice. You got to hear everything.
Right.
I kind of wish I could have went to the showing, like first showing, but I was pretty content with the showing I went to.
Good deal, man. Good deal. So before we get into all the shit we got to talk about today, I'm gonna do my merchandise. Little showing off my merch here. I really didn't get a whole lot for this movie prior to release or anything, but I did get some stuff. I have this little tiny Ray figure, very, very, very small. I also own the soundtrack for this one. And Adam, would it surprise you to hear that I own 3 editions of this film? No?
Oh, sir.
All
No,
right.
sir.
Well, I don't.
How
I
many
actually
editions
only
do you
own
own
2.
of each?
I actually own 2 of this one. I have this steelbook
Oh,
here,
okay.
which is wonderful.
Well, that surprises
I
me.
know.
Yeah, that surprises me. How many editions do you own of each one?
Most of them 3, except for the prequels, and then 2 for Rise of Skywalker, and then I have the original 4K. Actually, I like this slip cover, and then how you open it, and it's got the the original poster design on there. So yeah, a lot of fun stuff. So I'll go into my overall thoughts upon a revisit today. I like this movie, or actually I love this movie. I really do. I still have some problems with it, probably more so than the previous 2. And I think I like this one less than the previous 2, but then again, it's kind of tough to decide because like the moments that are like great in this movie are like super great. You know what I mean? So it's very tough for me to decide on that. Just
There's some oh my god moments in there.
definitely 100%. Yeah. Mark.
There's some definitely Disney moments.
Yeah, I mean they all have those.
You're a Disney moment.
But we'll talk about it a little bit. I mean, there are, like I said, I have problems, but we'll dive into that as we move forward. Adam, overall thoughts on the film?
Boy, I really enjoyed this one this time. I actually think this might be my favorite of the 3.
Yeah.
It really might. I really enjoyed it for some reason this time around, and then I told you I watched the documentary after, and watching the documentaries always gives you a whole new perspective of what the emotion was behind it. The documentary for this one is different than the previous one because it's less about the technical side and more about the emotional side of wrapping up the Star Wars story and dealing with Carrie Fisher being gone and stuff like that. So I felt the emotion in this movie, that it meant a lot to everyone making it. And I think that's what made it really special to me. I could feel that when I watched it. And I really like this movie. I have a hard time nitpicking on too much about it for some reason this time. It was just a lot of fun to watch, and it made me not want to nitpick it just because I had a blast.
Cool. And the documentary that Adam's referring to, guys, is The Legacy of Skywalker. And Mark, I want you to give your overall thoughts, but you watched that documentary as well, right? I believe.
Yes, I did. I watched the documentary. Very good.
Excellent.
Enjoyed it. But the overall thoughts on the movie, I mean, I thoroughly enjoyed it. It definitely made up for the Last Jedi. there wasn't any moments where I just like was devastated or heartbroken or hated it. No, I really enjoyed this one. It's my favorite of the three. I love the fact that, of course, Emperor returns. That to me, I mean, he's always been one of my favorite Star Wars characters in the universe, and the fact that he was back in, pretty much full form, at one point, and to see him wield the dark side like he did is pretty neat. Some cool
Yeah.
stuff. I liked it.
Yeah, I mean, I think we can all agree that the Emperor is one of the best characters in the entire franchise. I mean, that's a no-brainer, I would say. But
Right.
and one of the things I want to bring up too, because you mentioned how it made up for the Last Jedi, and I actually think that's fantastic. If you didn't enjoy the Last Jedi and got enjoyment out of this one, I think that's great. I wanted to make sure I mentioned in my overall thoughts on this is one of the things, and I will get to some more detail later on this. Is like a lot of people talk about that they really think that JJ, just kind of ignored The Last Jedi and went with his own thing. But I'm going to argue that a little bit differently as we go further into this and in pretty great detail, because I think that there's a lot of ways that he honored The Last Jedi, in my personal opinion and in my personal perspective. But Ian, overall thoughts on The Rise of Skywalker?
By the way, your perspective about how he honored it, I can agree with that. But so I loved it. The first time I watched it, I had a great experience. Nobody kicking my seat. Made up for the last time
That's
I watched
good.
that. But no, I loved it. The first time, I loved it. The second time, it's been my favorite since it came out. I had
Wait.
fantastic time
Of all the Star Wars?
Oh, the third of the like the
Of
last
the
trilogy.
sequel trilogy. Okay, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I don't even know if I could actually like put a hands down on my favorite Star Wars, to be honest.
Okay.
I can tell you my least favorite. We all know it though. But anyway, I had a fantastic time watching it again. I was up all night last night watching it, and then after that I was like, I have work in the morning. Time to watch more Star Wars stuff. But no, I have nothing to really nitpick about it, other than like the one Disney moment at the very end. That's about it. Even though I even love the fact that they did kind of a Disney moment with it.
I'm interested to hear your take on that when we get into that later, actually, because I actually don't know specifically what you're talking about, but we'll get into it.
That's fine. That's fine.
The last thing, last thing I'll add before we jump right in here is, this is the film for me that, where I went with some friends who were not excited about Star Wars. I went twice on opening night for this one. Just being the last in the Skywalker saga, I wanted to make it special, so I made sure I actually went twice in one night. And both showings, I went with some friends that weren't high on Star Wars at the moment, and this kind of brought them back into it. And that's something I'll always attribute to this film. And Adam and I always talk about the experiences, seeing them kind of sometimes makes the films more special to you. So but yeah, let's jump into this. So opening crawl, let's pick apart this opening crawl. The Dead Speak. I gotta say, this opening crawl is part of my problem. I genuinely am not a huge fan of this opening crawl. The one thing I do like about it is that it at least tells me what's going on, but that's kind of my problem with it at the same time, is because one of my biggest problems in the movie in general, and it's funny because it's one of the problems I had with Return of the Jedi, is I definitely think the beginning should have been more expanded on. I think a lot of the stuff that we're being told in the crawl should be in the film itself. So that
Agreed.
is one of my biggest issues. I don't know, Adam, what'd you think of the crawl?
I really only have one issue with it, and that extends past just the crawl. Really, my only big issue with this movie was the choice to give away that Palpatine was returning before the movie came out.
Mm-hmm.
That was my issue. It was very exciting to see in the trailer, but shortly after, I was like, why did they do that? Like, because it's such a big moment. It would have been such an amazing surprise. And then they put it again at the very beginning of the crawl, like Palpatine returns. And it would have been so much more special if they would have just left it and they would have revealed it later. It would have been like, poof. So that's really my only issue. I feel like it would have made the movie have an even greater impact if they would have just left that as a little bit of surprise and kept it under wraps.
Can I make a quick interjection?
Just go ahead and give your opinion on the crawl then too, while you're at it. But yeah, go ahead.
I don't really have many opinions on the crawl. I think this is the sorry, Mark. I didn't mean to take your spot, but
Go for
I
it.
just wanted to say. I mean, like that's what I was talking about with trailers. They just give way too much away. Even just his laugh was enough to give it away that he was back.
All right.
But no, yeah, I don't think they should have. I don't think they should have given away until the moment dude got there and saw. Oh wow, there he is. So, I mean, the only thing that really affected me about this crawl was, yes, I agree with your statement about they should have left more, they should have put more in the beginning instead of, letting the open crawl explain some of this shit.
Yeah.
I mean, it was very, it was kind of like, well, there's my Easter egg.
I mean, again, the Palpatine, just reveal wouldn't have been a big deal to me in the trailer had they just expanded on it in the beginning outside of putting it in the crawl. I should not have to play Fortnite to hear the message that Palpatine, spread across the galaxy. It's just, it's
that's a fucking great idea. Like, that's a great analogy.
No, they actually put it in Fortnite. That's like,
are you fucking kidding me?
Yeah, that's where you got to hear it. That's an actual thing. If you go back and watch my original spoiler review I did on this movie a while back, like you can see I threw the clip in there of that. But Mark, what do you got?
That's annoying.
The opening crawl, I don't have any complaints about it. You guys are kind of like, disappointed that they talked about Palpatine. Me, I don't know. I was already excited because I knew Palpatine was back. So seeing it in the crawl really didn't give me any effect whatsoever. Could it have been nice if they'd have kept it top secret and you didn't find out till later in the movie? Maybe. But at the same time, I think the fact that adding Palpatine in and letting people know he's back really built the hype of the film and made people want to, give this one a shot, even though they didn't like the last one so much.
Right.
So
That's definitely why they did it.
Yeah, I think it benefited, from, getting that information out early on. So I think, putting that in the crawl, to me, it didn't bother me at all. It was like just more of a, oh yeah, he's back. Yeah, there he is right there on the opening crawl. They're talking about him.
I don't know. I mean, I guess for me, it was like, I don't mind that it was in the trailer. I understand it from the marketing standpoint. I just personally wish that they just would have built upon it better and we would have seen a lot of the stuff like the message in the film itself. But all that being said, knowing what I know, knowing that it's now in the crawl, we move into the beginning, and knowing all that information, the beginning is cool. Like knowing, you got Kylo Ren. He's going on a rampage. I mean,
the beginning is great.
He's messing some people up. He finds this holocron that they call the Wayfinder. It's a holocron. I don't care what anybody says.
You're right. You are right about that.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah, it's a holocron, and so it just acts as a compass. So he finds a holocron that is going to lead him to Exegol, and then he gets to Exegol. Exegol, one of the coolest planets. Honestly, it's a really, really great planet. I have no problem with this. Hops onto the planet. I love the shot of him just igniting the saber going in. Him going down on that spiral thing is cool. We get, it's right here. We get this little explanation for Snoke. I was so thrilled when this came about in the movie because one of the things I was so worried about is like, are they going to get convoluted when they're trying to explain away Snoke? And they kept it simple. I was happy about that. It was a real easy explanation. He made Snoke wonderful. I'm good with that. And then I like all the shots of Kylo, I like when he puts the saber toward Palpatine and it kind of gives him the reveal of the face a little bit, and I think that's pretty cool, red shining off his face. And then he talks about the girl a little bit, and she's not who you think she is. And then we leave off here and transition into the next scene. Adam, what do you think about all that?
They started the movie off so strong right off the bat. I mean, Kylo just going on a rampage.
That was cool.
It's amazing. Just right down to the camera work and just the colors, and it's vibrant. It's in your face. It's epic. I like every second of it. And then when he's flying through space to get to Exegol, I think that little space part when they have to fly through space to get there, like the red cloudiness
Yeah,
and
it's gorgeous.
everything
It
in the
looks good. It looks
galaxy
good.
is beautiful.
Mhm.
So cool looking. Actually kind of resembles my shirt now that I'm thinking about it.
A little bit.
But I
So
thought
dark.
that was amazing. The stuff with Palpatine, so cool to see him again. Initially I didn't really know how I felt about them revealing about how they revealed the Snoke stuff, about basically he was nobody, that he was just planted there by Palpatine. But watching it the second time, I didn't have an issue with it, and I'm like, I'm fine with Snoke being nobody, because the gravity of Palpatine being back and him being behind all this really hit me this time. It was a pretty big deal, so I'm fine with all the Snoke stuff. And then just in general, the sound effects, the special effects, the makeup, dude, off the chain.
Mhm.
And then that little bit where Kylo asks him something, and then Palpatine answers, and they completely suck the sound out of the room. It's complete silence, and he just says everything.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, makes your seat rumble.
I do have some problems with this film on the technical side, but sound design is not one of them, and sound mixing definitely not one of them. But yeah, and fun little tidbit I forgot to mention, where Kylo Ren is at on that rampage at the very beginning, that is actually Mustafar. That is where Anakin Skywalker died. That's that same planet. A lot of people don't know that, so little fun little tidbit for you guys. But Mark, what do you think of all the beginning?
Did you just say where Anakin Skywalker died?
That's correct. That's where Kylo's at in the very beginning of this.
Well, he didn't really die. He just got all chopped up.
I'm sorry, but go ahead.
All right.
Technically, he did die.
He
yeah,
ceased
no, I
to
like
be Anakin Skywalker, and then he I forgot the line, but go ahead. I was trying to make a point.
Well, he kind of returned to being Anakin at the end of Jedi. But,
Sure. Go ahead.
Just getting technical on you. No, I love the opening sequence. Absolutely fantastic. Love seeing Kylo going to town, just lightsaber in hand and just tearing it up. That was awesome.
Yeah.
Definitely a standout scene of the whole trilogy to me. I was just like, amazing. Like, this is freaking, this is what they should have done last time. Anyway, I love that. Getting the holocron, like you said, and going to Exegol, meeting the Emperor and stuff. All that was great. And it's like, okay, she's not who you think she is. I'm like, all right, when they say that, it's like, okay, here we go again with more mystery with Rey. So okay, let's get this figured out. Of course, we end up getting it figured out, but that was interesting how that whole played up to him meeting the Emperor and everything, and then kind of him having his own agenda versus what the Emperor's plans were and stuff like that. So
yeah, I just wish they would have called the Wayfinder a holocron, but maybe that's just a fan nitpick. Whatever. Ian, go ahead. What'd you think?
Okay, so I have to say that opening scene with him going on a rampage got me so hard. But outside of that, I mean, like,
Naturally.
I naturally, I have to agree with Adam's statement about how, like, the color was beautiful. Everything that they did with, like, scenic wise was just absolutely gorgeous. Actually, one of my favorite things about this whole opening is when Kylo is going down the elevator, his saber is giving off little flares like it's on fire, and I absolutely love it. And it's like, it's just a small detail, but I didn't notice it the first time. Noticing it the second time, I'm just like, wow, that's actually really cool how they went about it, because they didn't have to do that. They didn't have to add it, and we would have been fine without it. But it's just a small detail I absolutely love. I think this was definitely more of that convoluted nature that Star Wars can have sometimes. Whenever he's talking to Palpatine and about Rey's past, and I was cool with it. I was like, okay, it gives you hints, but it doesn't give you the full picture right off the bat.
Right.
They're dangling a
small
carrot in
hints.
front of our face.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we're a pig in Minecraft at this point.
Exactly. So then we go on to we're moving into this Poe, Finn, and Chewie scene. I like this scene personally. I think it's cool they're playing chess. I found all this to be very funny. One thing I'll give the humor credit to in this movie, I like the humor part better in this than I did in The Last Jedi. The humor in this movie I like better. I found myself laughing harder at it for sure. Anyway, and it felt more Star Wars humor to me in this. But yeah, so they're playing chess, and then they go to this dude who's apparently his name is Julio. Did you get that too? Because that's what it sounded like when they asked him. The guy that's like, "Oh, win the war." That guy. Apparently his name's Julio. I never caught that before, but that guy is actually voiced by Mark Hamill. Actually, a lot of people don't know that. So then they move into this whole thing. They got all these ties coming after them, and then they're jumping through, and then we see something we'd never seen before, which is light speed skipping. One of these planets, interesting enough that they light speed through, skip through, is Coruscant. I don't know if anybody else caught that. So that's a pretty cool little neat detail that they put in there.
I apologize. I missed that little detail. What was it?
One of the when he's light speed skipping with the Falcon in the beginning, one of them is Coruscant. One of the planets we see is Coruscant.
Oh,
so, yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, just a fun little cool detail they threw in there. I like the imagery of the Falcon almost like doubling itself. Like that's pretty awesome too. Then there's this big old creature thing that pops up, last jump may be forever, a line that I actually really enjoy. I thought that was a really well written line. And then if I gotta say, I don't hate the scene. I would have traded it for a little bit more Agent Kloss, because I'm pretty sure it said in the crawl that they were out there looking, for the possibilities of a spy already. So like, I genuinely would have traded this scene for a little bit more of Rey training on Agent Kloss. But I do enjoy the scene overall as a whole. Adam, what do you got?
Yeah, I like this bit. I like the bit with Chewy and them, talking about Chewy cheating, and the jokes are funny.
Yeah, that's really good.
I still laughed this time. I like the humor in this movie. I felt like in general, I felt like this was a really balanced movie. There was a lot of balance between being really dark and having kind of a captivating story, but also having that humor, but it wasn't cheesy humor like the previous movie. The writing was a little cheesy at times. I think I prefer the writing style in this movie. But light speed skipping sequence was super dope. Skipping through all those different colors and surroundings. It just changed every time they skipped.
Yeah,
it was very vibrant, in your face. Just really cool. I didn't have any issues with this either. Really, the entire first part of the movie is just captivating. It's beautiful. It's paced fine. I just really like it. So no issues.
Right on. Mark, what do you got?
Sorry, I got a work text coming in. Hang on just a second.
Ian, what do you got?
Give it to Ian.
So the quippiness between them was amazing. I liked it. It felt a little forced at some points. Throughout the whole movie, it kind of felt a little forced. Sometimes them trying to bounce off each other. I think it was mainly just the intros, the introductory area of like what's going on. But outside of that, I liked how quippy they were with one another. That was very pleasing. The planet skipping. My bad. Light speed skipping. That was fun. That was fun idea. And I'm sure if we played all the games, watched all the like the animated movies and all the other movies, we've seen some of these places that they jumped through. I'm sure they added every single one. Yeah. And I like the idea that they keep it so consistent throughout the whole universe that they've created between the very first games they made and whatnot. Even just like the small little tidbits they show. And then I have to also agree that his line, this may be our last
jump, maybe forever. Yeah, that was a great line. Yeah.
That was fun.
Such a Poe
that-
line, though, right? It was
yes,
such a Poe
yes,
line.
it really was. That whole scene was just it was amazing. That was a good start too. Like just that was a good follow up to Kylo Ren going and seeing Palpatine and starting off strong. It was keeping its
Yeah.
strength throughout all those scenes.
Yeah. I'm gonna disagree with you on the chemistry part though, or the lines. Like I don't feel like any of them felt forced. I mean, the chemistry's really there, obviously, always between Poe and Finn. Again, I just feel like it would have been more comfortable had we had maybe just an extra 20 minutes, maybe tacked on to the beginning of this.
I
But,
agree.
Anyway, Mark, what do you got?
Yeah, I wouldn't have minded longer sequences.
Mm.
I thought the chemistry was fine. I didn't have any issues with that. The light speed skipping thing, to me, that was just super cool to see something kind of new and a new take on something we already know about. It's like, oh, this is actually pretty cool. It's not cheesy. It's not to me. It wasn't like, all right, well, they're trying to come up with a gimmick or something. It's like, oh no, this is awesome. Actually, I loved it. Made me more excited. Like I'm sitting in the theater just going, oh man, this is great.
Yeah.
It's like, pal, you just gave us something new and fresh, based on something we already knew. So I really, really enjoyed it.
All right. Cool. And we're gonna try to jump through Ajan Kloss here. So we we go right into Rey. She's training. She's floating up there with the rocks. I actually thought this stuff was really cool. Be with me line is really great. She does this little Peter Pan flip thing coming down from it. It was jarring to me the first time I watched it, but I actually grown to like that little shot of her doing that flip. But then she comes down. There's Leia. I think that's awesome that obviously Leia's training her now, and that's the first thing I'm going to say that builds upon what Ryan kind of set up there, is that Leia is a Force user now. So yeah, I think it's great that she's training her in the Jedi ways. Then we got she's going to go on this training run. The training run is all done fantastic. I really enjoy that. I think it's a lot of fun to watch her do that run, and then with the saber, I mean, there's some really cool stuff. I mean, the saber going around and cutting down all the trees and her coming back and catching it, like that stuff it's fantastic. Then you got Kylo on the other end of this, interlaced with him, kind of using the helmet as what I can only assume is like a meditation device for him, being able to kind of tap into what's going on with Rey a little bit, or tap into Rey's head, and that stuff is done really well. Then you got BB-8 stuck under a tree. She apologizes to him, grabs him, tells Leia that she's not really feeling herself enough to do the training run. Then we got Poe, Finn, and excuse me. Oh, and the other thing I wanted to say was, I almost forget that Carrie Fisher's not actually on screen during these scenes. Like it really does feel seamless to me even till this day. Then we get Poe, Finn, and who is it? Just Poe and Finn landing the Falcon. They're coming off the ship, and then I like the argument that him and Rey have. I like the banter between the characters. I think that their chemistry is good enough to where you really do believe that they have been together for a good long while now. Like you can feel the time jump just between their chemistry. My biggest issue with this moment is more or less the editing. I think that there is more cutting between and during the conversation than there needed to be. But I like the conversation itself. It's just that the editing really stuck out and bothered me this time during the conversation, just transitioning from character to character. I thought it was just a little quick, and it almost feels like they did cut a lot of stuff from this Ajan Kloss early sequences. It really is just editing for me, just especially during conversation. And then sometimes they have parts in the conversations where it's all done in one shot, so I don't know, but it just felt like they cut a little bit more than they typically would, and just maybe a little too much. I just didn't like the cuts. But anyway, Adam, what do you got about all that?
Yeah, I don't really have any issues. The whole training sequence and everything is dope. Once again, Leia kind of being the one to train and take that role and fill that role is really cool to see. And finally see Leia for who she is and some of her abilities, and that was something cool that I like that JJ expanded on, that I think he briefly talked about in the documentary, talking about how we kind of know, like we kind of had hints that Leia, you know, could use the Force and could have stepped into this role, but we didn't really get anything more prior to this trilogy. So, you know, he wanted to do her justice and really show what she could do and show that she is a Force user and she can be powerful. And I think that's cool. It really makes me wonder, you know, if Carrie Fisher was still with us, like, what would that movie look like? Because I think this movie was supposed to be her role. Like, it was
Right.
supposed to be her just being badass. And I wish she didn't have to leave us early. That still really upsets me when I watch this, and especially in the documentary, seeing the emotion of the other people. And I do think it was cool that her daughter was in this movie. That was dope.
Yeah, she's in all three, but yeah.
So yeah, I like all this stuff. Still don't have an issue.
Yeah, what was I gonna say? If you ever read Colin Trevorrow's script for Star Wars Episode 9, Duel of the Fates, which was going to be the original title, I mean, there's some fantastic Leia stuff in that for sure. But you know, they did the best with what they had. I feel like with her, as far as she goes, I have no problem with her. Mark, what do you think about all this?
Loved the training sequence. Just this movie to me just was flowing very well, very well paced, fast paced. Seeing her going through the training, and I really loved how they utilized Carrie Fisher in this. You know, going into this film, I didn't know what to expect. I didn't expect that they were going to utilize her very much. I figured maybe a few CGI scenes or something, but they kind of utilized her a lot more than I anticipated.
Yeah.
And I was very pleased with that, very happy that they did that. So it was like they made up for some of the previous mistakes in previous films to me by not, you know, making it super cheesy, or by, you know, downgrading her character, downplaying it. How the ability, what they did in this really shined. So, you know, she had quite a few scenes. Some of it you could probably tell, okay, she'd filmed that for that movie, but then they superimposed, or they used, you know, you could kind of tell a little bit if you're really paying attention, but it didn't feel like it. You know, it didn't. There wasn't anything out of place. It was just like, all right, this is very cool how they did it.
Yeah.
Very respectful.
One of the Poe lines that I feel like I'm gonna gloss over, I glossed over a little bit, was when Rey was when they were coming off the Falcon, and Rey says, "No spy," and then Poe, "No spy." Like, I thought that was so Poe like of him. And then I like the whole thing about, like I said, their argument with the what'd you do to my ship? What'd you do to my droid? Like, I thought that stuff was just, it was all hysterical. Ian, what'd you think of all this stuff?
I have no complaints about anything. Other than, you know, I do agree with the editing. That might have been how I felt, you know, through the whole introductory sequence of this movie, of them leading up to the next planet and all. So that might have been why I feel like it was kind of like some of the quippiness was forced, but the rest of it was, you know, it was on point, even though it felt forced at some points. I'm not gonna lie, the first time I watched the movie in the theaters, I couldn't tell that Leia was just, you know, deep faked in. Watching it this time, I could tell, and it was kind of like, this hurts now that I'm watching this, because like the first time I was like, it hurts that she's not here, but I mean, they did a good job. But now I'm like, I can see the difference. I can see, you know, the deep fake, but it did feel almost seamless to me, and I liked that. I liked that it gave you a hint that Rey was having struggles. I liked with certain elements inside. I liked that. That was a nice little hint there.
Yeah.
Carrie, most of her stuff was previous footage, right?
Yeah, they didn't deep fake.
So.
It's not deep
I'm
fake.
Not mistaken.
Yeah, they actually they cut deleted
they,
scenes, and then from the previous.
They had to kind of paste her in. So really, the issue would have been lighting differences, being able to paste her in and then make her blend in with the lighting of the current scene, even though it was shot somewhere else under different circumstances.
Okay.
But you know, that with that, I forgot to mention, there were certain times where I definitely felt that it would have been different if she were actually recording it. Some of the lines did kind of feel like they belonged somewhere else, but they were using what they had, and I'm not judging harshly on that because I'm really happy that they did it. And
I can agree with that.
It still works. There really wouldn't have been much of an alternative. I think they did fantastic for what they had to use, and I'm glad that they did decide to do it.
I do agree. I just like it looked deep fake. So I mean, I guess it is the lighting, but I mean, I'm happy in all that they did keep her parts that they did, like from even previous things that they did record. So I overall, it was heartwarming to see her, and it was nice. I really do wish she was able to record for this movie. I wish she didn't leave so soon. I wish she lived a fuller life and got to see more things.
Yeah, and I mean, like I said, I still tend to forget that she's even passed when I watch this, so I don't typically notice it. But got to move on. So we're going into Poe and Finn. They gather everybody together. I like that Admiral Akbar's son is now a part of the Resistance. I find that to be a cool little detail. Anyway, so they're talking about their Emperor Palpatine has returned. And I mean it's pretty quick. A lot of people had issue with it. I think it was fine. I mean it was what did I think Dominic Monaghan's character kind of says it, the dark side cloning, things only the Sith knew, you know what I mean? It's like, yeah, well, that's how he's gonna come back. Makes sense to me. I'm good with that simplicity. And then Rey, they're talking about the Wayfinder. That's how they're going to find Exegol. Rey goes to I guess what is Luke Skywalker's diary that she took from Octo type thing, and then shows that Luke was on it. He was searching for this stuff, and makes a lot of sense if you go back to the Battlefront 2 video game, the latest version of Battlefront 2, the canon one that came out in that campaign. You see Luke Skywalker on the hunt for a lot of these old artifacts and stuff, so it makes sense that Luke was also searching for something like this at one point in time. Anyway, so they're gonna go find the Wayfinder. Get a quick little moment with Rose. This is the point where Mark stood up in the theater and clapped the second she said that she wasn't coming on the mission with them. So then
I was so stoked.
Yeah, I'm sure. And then they're going on to the Falcon. And I like the whole dynamic, Finn telling Rey, no, we're coming with you. That's how it's gonna be. I think it's a real sweet moment. There are a lot of real sweet moments here on Agent Class between the characters, and then we're taking off and going. Then Kylo Ren is putting back together the helmet. How he gathered all these pieces after that explosion, I'll never really know. But he got them. And he's putting back together the helmet. Like I said, I mean, I love this helmet, so I'm like always good if he's wearing it. I like moments without the helmet too, because it humanizes them. So it's like it really doesn't matter to me either which way they want to go with it. I think the new design is really cool with the red all over it. They put the helmet back together. Then he has a council meeting. I used to really like this like little council meeting he had. Now I'm not a huge fan of it. It just seems a little too on the nose, taken from New Hope. I mean, it really is the same thing, except he puts one guy up to the ceiling. That part's cool because it's something new, but the rest of it is kind of weird. I found the dialogue to be kind of cheesy and all that, but anyway, what do you got, Adam?
We see Rose again very briefly. It's funny because that was one thing that I think a lot of the critics were not happy with about this movie. Specifically, my cousin's wife, the writer.
Mm-hmm.
I talked to her when she came home for Christmas. I was talking to her about it because I want her opinion because she's a writer. So that was one thing that she was very mad about because apparently she really liked Rose. So I think it's kind of funny that so many of the fans hate that character and the critics really like her.
Mm-hmm.
But I will say that this movie proves my point about what I was talking about with Rose in the last movie, because the bits that Rose is in, she feels completely different. Her personality is completely different.
I agree.
I stand by it. If JJ would have been in charge and Rose still existed, I think her character would have come off as more likable. I just think the writing for the last movie made her so incredibly cheesy and unbearable. I think that that actress is perfectly capable of doing it. I think the concept of her character is fine, and I think this movie proves it because the few times she is in it, she's just like a normal person. Like, she's likable in this movie, even though we don't see her very much. So I do think it was pretty much just writing, because we didn't get any cheesy lines from her. We got realistic lines that real people would have actually said. She didn't overact anything. She was just a normal person.
Yeah.
Anyway, the return of Kylo's helmet, I of course I love it when he's wearing that helmet. Like they talk about in the documentary, that that Japanese technique where they put things together with the gold in the middle that holds them together. They went off of that technique. They just did it with that glowing red, which is really cool.
Yeah. Yeah.
And obviously the helmet sort of has to come into play on purpose creatively. I feel like anytime Kylo is really in a dark place emotionally, I feel like, no pun intended, he's using his helmet to mask his emotions. So when he's going through these moments where he is just ridiculously hell-bent on destruction and in a really dark place, I feel like him wearing that helmet is almost a symbol for that, because every time he takes his helmet off, we get more human moments from him. And you know, there are moments where he connects with Rey and he's still wearing his helmet and he's trying to pull her back, and then the moments where he connects with her most, he's got his helmet off. So that just goes back into that thing that without the helmet, he's much more relatable, he's humanized. So I just think it almost helps play into that sort of alter ego thing that he's got pulling inside him. I really like it. But yeah, anyway, that's my take on that.
Sure. Yeah, definitely. I mean, the only thing I wanted to say about Rose too is, even as somebody and myself who actually didn't hate her nearly as much as you guys did in the last film, actually enjoyed her, I can honestly say myself that her personality definitely seems different. I did notice that as well.
Toned down
Maybe, yeah. But I mean, there was more shot with Rose. They cut that from the movie. The poor actress has come.
I would be interested in seeing what stuff they cut.
Yeah, there was definitely a whole scene with her and Rey, because they even showed the picture from that scene at Star Wars Celebration, and we never saw it. So
I'd like to see how her character was under JJ's direction, because it already feels different just from what we did get of her.
We may or may not see that. Some people from the production like to say they cut nothing from this movie. Yeah, right. But Mark, what did you think of all this stuff?
All right. Well, you're absolutely correct. When Rose says that she's not going on the mission, I'm clapping. I'm going, yes, and the people in the theater are saying, thank God. It was definitely very enjoyable to hear her say she's not going with them. Nothing could have made me happier. So at this point, I'm just like, yeah. Right. Yippee! Yeehaw! So anyway, yeah, love that. Kylo putting his helmet together. I love the new helmet, or obviously the old helmet, but with the new red and everything in it. To me, that was just awesome, super cool, badass. Loved it. Yeah, so good stuff. Yeah, I'm loving this movie. At this point, I have zero complaints about anything.
All right.
So good.
All right. Then they travel over to Aki as their first destination. As much as I
like the mask too.
Ian, I'm so sorry I skipped over you, didn't I, on this stuff?
That's all I gotta say is I like the mask too.
No, go ahead. Yeah.
No, I mean that's legitimately all I have to say. I like the mask.
What is that little thing that's next to you?
This?
Yeah.
That's Dwight.
It looks like a shrunken head or something. It's weird. Oh, it's an actual skull. It looked really bizarre. Okay.
All right, so we're on Aki Aki, and the people
It's a real
are...
skull, by the way.
As much as I
White says thank you.
as much as I enjoy the people that were dancing and stuff, these new species, I like seeing new species. It's expanding the world a little bit, and I enjoy that aspect about it. You guys know how I feel about the sand planets in this thing. I've talked about this before. This might as well have been Tatooine. I mean, come on. I mean, it really might as well have been Tatooine the way I see it. They didn't have to be a whole new sand planet. It's just dumb. If you're gonna have a sand planet that's a spitting image of Tatooine, make it Tatooine.
I mean, there's only so much sand in the world that they can use, and it mostly looks the same. So
there's red sand. Did anybody think to use red sand? They barely use that in these things. But anyway, so they're on Aki Aki, and so then they're doing the dance stuff. I thought the moment with Rey and the little child thing, that was adorable. Then they move into Rey's getting this vision of Kylo, or not vision, the Force Skype, the Force Zoom. They're talking over the Force Zoom, and Kylo's being intimidating and all that kind of stuff. And I think this stuff is really awesome. Again, this is something else they carried over from The Last Jedi. If Ryan doesn't set this up, this stuff doesn't really work, does it? So there's that. Yeah, I don't mind all this stuff, but then we get into somebody saves them from the troopers when they start coming after him. It's Lando. Seeing Lando again was fantastic. Lando is Lando in this movie. He's everything I wanted him to be, even for the short moment that he's right here. He's everything I wanted Lando to be. So that was really fantastic. And then we go on this wild chase. Because the troopers are coming after him, and I gotta tell you, this stuff is super ridiculous. So they're going down the they're doing this chase thing, and I'm fine with it from a technical aspect and all that. The they fly now stuff was just dumb. I mean, it was a dumb line. I mean they've been flying since 1802. We all know that, so it was just kind of stupid. I did enjoy the part where Chewy's blasting, some of these stormtroopers that are flying. Like, that was cool. The one where the one whistling around, and he just finally, it takes him a minute, but he finally hits the cliff. Thought that was pretty funny. Like, so I enjoy that. But yeah, just the sequence was, I don't know, it was silly. Then they end up in the quicksand, and Finn goes, "Hey, I got something to tell you." Never follows up on that, but anyway, they're going down the quicksand, and then one of the things I respect here is you saw it in the documentary, is that they actually built like an underground thing, so they're actually practically going through this stuff, which I thought was super awesome in terms of that, like the way that they did it practically. And they go down the cave. I like the design of the cave. One of the things I really enjoy here too is Rey igniting that saber, Finn coming out with that little tiny flashlight. I get quite the laugh out of that little doing noise. That's very funny. They keeping secret stuff. Oh, you're keeping secrets now. Like, that stuff's weird to me, but whatever. I enjoy the dynamic between these characters. I like the design of the cave. The thing I hate the most, it's one of the dumbest things that ever happened in this movie, is they just stumble upon this dagger. That is one of the dumbest things I think is in this movie. I mean, talk about, it's plot convenience at its finest, but whatever, we're moving on. And we get the whatchamajigger. Excuse me. We find the that big snake thing. I'm trying to think, because there's a technical name for it, and can't really think of it, but whatever. The giant snake thing, I thought that was cool how they did that. I'm sure you saw that in the doc, Adam.
Sherpit.
And then well, no, it's a Star Wars name, but never mind. So Rey is doing the Force heal. One of the things I liked about the Force heal is I personally bought into it. Just definitely because the episode where Baby Yoda did the healing aired the day before this movie came out, so I was like really buying into that. I thought it was cool, kind of how they interconnected the two. But anyway, Adam, what do you think of all that? That's quite the mouthful, but
unlike Dom, I don't have an issue with sand planets. There's only so much sand in the world that they can shoot, and most of it looks the same, I assure you.
don't make sand planets, make something else, but go ahead.
I don't have an issue with the sand planet. I think it's entirely likely that a crap load of planets are sand planets because they're probably too close to the sun. And the new species and stuff that we see with all the colorful stuff and they're dancing, I thought that was cool. The documentary really
Oh yeah, that was
it
cool.
was really interesting. They had to cast like 450 people for that and do the choreography for it.
That was awesome in the doc. Yeah.
I thought it was excellent. And, JJ's explanation for it, wanting Ray to show up and see something that she'd never seen before and, experience a kind of joy, especially on a planet that's so similar to where she's from. Experience that kind of joy, something that she's never been a part of before. And you can see it in her eyes. She's really excited. So I thought that was cool. I don't really have an issue with the stormtrooper bit. I thought it was interesting how they pulled off the stunts. Those were all really cool. And Poe hot wiring the vehicle. I love that Finn says what everybody's already thinking. How do you know how to do that? I thought that was funny, which sets up for the explanation of his past later. I don't really have much issue with dialogue in this movie. The previous movie was the movie that I had the most dialogue issues with. It was cheesy as all get out. I think this movie, personally, I thought this movie excelled in dialogue. I thought the characters had the most chemistry. They felt like they had been friends. They'd been connected. They're giving each other lip. I like all that stuff. And them sinking in the sand, which now we know was actually black beans, which is kind of funny. And the little rig they built up to make them sink, that was all cool. Going underneath, I will agree, it is plot convenience. That's the first thing that came to my mind. They just happened to stumble upon it. That's definitely plot convenience. That's really the only big issue I have with this movie. And it's one of those things that I love this movie so much. It feels so exciting, and it still has enough originality balanced with nostalgia and fan service in a way that when I'm watching it, even though I know it's plot convenience, I don't really care that much, just because I like what's happening and I'm having a good time. So put that in a different movie and I would rip it apart, but I like this movie so much that I'm basically like, well, I'll give you a free pass. The humor with lighting the lightsaber and him turning on the flashlight, I thought that was hilarious. That makes me laugh. And Finn having something to tell Rey, which we never really get a follow-up on, but I think we kind of understand what he says later when he insinuates that Leia knew who Rey was. So that kind of comes indirectly. The force healing thing, I will admit, when I first saw the force healing thing, I didn't really know how to feel about it. I didn't really like it that much. Watching it this time around, I don't really have a big issue with it, because I know her bloodline. I know just how powerful she is. I know that is sort of foreshadowing what's going to happen at the beginning or at the end of the movie. It's setting something up for us, and she's getting more powerful. She's dabbling with her powers, and we're really seeing what she's capable of. And this sequence, other than plot convenience, was still pretty cool. I don't have an issue with the sand.
Right on. And I like I want to mention too, because we kind of brushed over the whole Ochi plot line. One of the things too in this cave that I think is cool is they kind of stumble over Ochi's dead body, which is it kind of pretty much resembles the Goonies in quite a big way. Kind of how that goes. They do that a couple times in this movie where they pay tribute to the Goonies, which I'll get into later. But anyway. But the one thing what they end up doing with Ochi later is pretty cool. So I like that they set him up here for a moment. But Mark, what did you think of all this?
Sand. I hate the sand. It gets everywhere. But no, actually, I like the sand planet. I mean, I didn't have any issues. There's plenty of sand planets in the galaxy, right?
Too many.
The creatures or whatever doing the dance thing and all that. Yeah, it was kind of neat. Rewatchability. It can kind of get borderline, almost fast forward, just because once you've seen it, it was cool. But yeah, I don't need to see it 100 times. So but it doesn't take up that much time, so it's not too bad. Running into Lando, huh?
Are you just fast forwarding every movie since the
No,
last
no,
one?
just this one scene. That's all.
He's really utilizing that fast forward button.
He really
Yeah, I
is.
like it.
Sorry.
I like it a lot. The
Modern technology, man. It's a hell of a
Lando
thing.
showing up here was awesome to me. That's what I thought. If they had put Lando in the last one, maybe he could have saved it, and they didn't. And so the fact that they put Lando in this one, they definitely took my idea and ran with it, which was great. And then he didn't just get the one scene. Of course, he gets the space battle scenes later on. But
Of course.
so it's, to me, seeing Lando, I mean, it meant so much, and it was just huge. And then, of course, your plot convenience of falling through the black beans or whatever and all that stuff. Yeah, it helped with pacing, I think, and kept the movie flowing quickly. So I had no issues with that. The force healing thing or whatever. I thought that was a neat little twist on it. It makes sense. Baby Yoda, did it before, the day before or whatever, but it just kind of makes sense that probably all the other Jedis that we've seen had that ability. We just maybe never had the opportunity to really see it so much.
Yeah, I agree.
So it wasn't like hokey. I didn't think it was. It was interesting. I thought it brought an interesting piece to it. And I thought, okay, they're going to set this up, so we're going to be able to see this again, in the movie later, which obviously we did. But
Right.
Yeah. So that's kind of my take on all that.
Cool.
I will say real quick. I will say my initial reaction to the force healing thing, after I had seen the movie and I had thought about it, I hadn't watched that episode of The Mandalorian yet at the time, so I didn't see the Baby Yoda thing. But when I had thought about it, what I thought of was that the force healing thing, since I hadn't seen it before, it was new to me. I thought maybe, considering that she was a Palpatine, I thought, since we know that kind of bringing people back from the dead and that whole thing is sort of a Sith thing, I thought maybe the ability to force heal, since we had never seen it before in the Jedi, I thought maybe that was a connection with her and the Sith, and one of those abilities with her being able to kind of tamper with life in a way, especially when directly following that we see lightning come from her fingertips. So that's initially what I thought that was after I'd seen the movie.
Well, with her having that ability, so quickly into her Jedi career, I suppose, do you think that implies that maybe Palpatine had that ability the entire time and just never revealed that to Anakin?
Probably.
Yeah, I would say so.
I mean, I definitely think that Palpatine probably utilized that trauma to his advantage. So I don't think he would have used it.
Yeah. Ian, what'd you think of all this stuff, though? These sequences.
I thought it was kind of neat. Again, this is pretty much where my complaint about it feels like forced quippiness ends. Them leading up to the black bean pit, which I did not know was black beans. I love that. Cool. That's fantastic.
Right. Love black beans.
It must have smelled awful after that shot. But no, I liked it. I mean, I'm not one to be like, I'm not one to be like, it was awful or anything like that about this scene whatsoever. I have no complaints about the sand planets, like you do. I've already described that like last time or the time before. I think it was part 7 we talked about this, or episode 7 we talked about this. But leading into then going into the underground and finding the dagger, past the dagger, and her using the force healing, I liked the idea of force healing because it takes a little bit of lifespan.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like, kind of discussing about how Palpatine and Vader were, I feel like Palpatine definitely had the ability to. I definitely think that Adam is right. He used the trauma to his advantage, but I also feel like you have to give a little bit of life force to heal a little bit amount, like, a little bit. So how much life force would Palpatine have to have given up just to heal Anakin?
That's a good point. Actually,
So,
really, really good question. Yeah.
So with Palpatine being as greedy as an individual as he is, why the hell would he heal him?
That's a good
He's
point.
already
Well, then
got
that
him where
makes
he wants him.
wonder about Baby Yoda being so small and healing people.
So the
Well,
child
maybe he's used
is
to bring
actually supposed to be
Palpatine back.
50. Oh.
Possibly.
Oh.
We know there's
So-
going to be some cloning stuff going on, so it's possible.
Yeah, that is possible. I like the idea that the child is like 50 years old and we're like, oh, it's a baby. But
Well,
that could
remind
be
me,
a thing.
when was the Mandalorian set?
15 years
It was-
after Return of the Jedi, so
Yeah,
we're
it's
not
no,
quite
it's actually
to the first.
Oh,
So it's we're probably going to get some interference with how the First Order got started and everything.
It's entirely possible that could have been. I mean, in theory, as a fan theory, I guess it
shit.
could be possible that that's why they want Baby Yoda so much.
Mhm.
Oh shit!
That makes
possible.
sense.
This is making
Now
me
I kind of
uncomfortable.
hope
I like
that
it.
that ties in.
Let's not get
That's
too caught
fucked.
up in theories, folks.
I'm not gonna get caught up in
Speculate
theories.
responsibly.
Oh, who am I kidding? I'm gonna get caught up in the theories.
Okay, I apologize. I was for eating on screen because I mean it's kind of inappropriate.
You're fine.
I
All right, so let's
did not
move
eat all
into this. Up until this point, I feel like we were moving at a blistering pace, to say the least. Where we're going now, I mean, it was really, really quick, maybe a little too quick in my opinion, which is why I definitely feel like they cut up a whole bunch of stuff from this movie. Might have been more okay with it had they put the deleted scenes on the bonus features, but it's the first Blu-ray to come out where there weren't any deleted scenes, which makes me believe maybe there will be an extended cut later of this film. We'll see. Anyway, but aside from that, like, them going back out on the ship, should we keep them watching? I mean, this is right here. We're seeing the Knights of Ren too, which is pretty cool. I mean, it was nice to finally see who these guys were. I don't really have a problem with their shortened amount of time in the film. I mean, a lot of people are so mad that, well, we got the Knights of Ren, but they weren't in it that often. Well, they're not that important, so I'm like actually perfectly fine with this. It was just cool to see who they were finally. And then, excuse me. So then we got, Rey's walking out. She senses Kylo coming. She's walking out into the desert. I think this is one of the best scenes in the whole damn saga. Kylo's speeding up with the thing, even though you see it in the trailer. Well, you don't see how it all ends up, but Kylo comes speeding up with the thing. That whole thing with, I mean, her igniting the saber and just it all looks great. And then Kylo comes up and that sound, man. And maybe Adam could speak to this when he finally comes up to her. That sound that they do, like with where she flips over the thing, which is really awesome because you saw in the doc, like Daisy actually did that stunt, which is pretty cool. Obviously, there wasn't an actual TIE speeding at her, but still pretty cool that she committed to that stunt. It's pretty awesome. But
Would have been a lot cooler if there was.
she'd have been a lot.
She would have got paid a lot more too.
But anyway, so yeah, this is awesome. I mean, it really is awesome. So then the tie goes flipping. I have no idea how Kylo got out of this one, but the Force, I mean, whatever. Then Finn comes running out, yells Rey. He does that quite a bit in this film, if I may add. And then he's like, they got Chewy, and then she tries to stop the ship. This is awesome, too, because we never really seen this in live action. Somebody using the Force to stop an actual ship that was taken off. Pretty cool stuff. And then Kylo comes up, and they're playing this tug-of-war with the ship, and then the lightning comes out of her hand, and then it blows up, and then Rey yells Chewy, and then she's telling Finn on the back on the ship, you know, and she's trying to go through her emotions. And I've given Adam Driver the edge in the prior two movies, but I gotta give the edge to Daisy Ridley here. Like, I think she really steals the show in this film in particular. She really came into her own as a performer, and she is incredible in this movie. This is clearly Rey's movie. I mean, it really is from beginning to end, in my opinion, and it's just so clear, and she really brings it. But anyway, Adam, what do you think of all this stuff?
I love this bit, dude.
Yeah.
I freaking love it.
Hell yeah.
The flipping over his ship, the whole thing, slow-mo, and I think it's cool that she did the stunt. That's awesome. Yeah, that is a super cool moment. And then when she goes to stop the ship and they're playing the tug of war, dude, when lightning came out of her fingertips, I nearly pooped myself.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah,
the
me
first
too.
time I
awesome.
saw this, in my jaw, I had to pick my jaw up
Yeah,
off the
me
floor
too.
because I didn't expect it to happen. And that was the first moment where I think people started realizing Palpatine's in this movie. Lightning came from her fingers,
Right.
and I heard some people around me starting to make the connection, and it was just kind of mind-blowing. And I will also say that I fell into the trap. I definitely thought that Chewie was on that ship.
Oh yeah, me too.
Some people could say, oh, he's such a big character, they wouldn't kill him like that. But I think we can all agree that I think they have the balls to do that, because they clearly have had the balls to kill off our favorite characters already. So at this point, I was like, they killed him.
Yeah,
They killed him, didn't they? Which would be one thing, but it was the way in which it happened. I was like, I swear, if he's actually dead, I'm going to be so mad. But, we know that he survives. And I will say Daisy Ridley's acting in this movie it's
tremendous, man.
It was really good. Yeah. And she yells Chewy, and you can see in the documentary, she's got real tears coming from her eyes and everything. She really signaled in some real emotion when she was acting in this movie. So,
yeah, it's incredible.
Huge respect to her. We kind of watched her blossom as an actress.
It's true, man.
Before our eyes. I really love it.
Mark, what do you think of all this stuff?
Well, my initial reaction was there's no way Chewie was on that ship. Absolutely not. There's no way it could be. No.
May I ask you something real quick, please? Would you have still liked this movie had Chewie died in this moment?
If Chewie had actually died, I would have got up and freaking left in the middle of the movie as soon as I got confirmation that he was actually gone. I would be totally done with Star Wars. I would have walked right out. But I knew there was no way they would do that. There's no way he was on that ship. I wasn't like, the kids looked at me like, oh my God, Dad's going to start crying again. I'm like, there's no way. My son was like, there's no way he is dead. They didn't kill Chewbacca off. We're fine. Just watch and see what happens. Okay, so far this movie has not disappointed. JJ's trying to make up for all the damage control here from the last one. There's no way that's going to happen. So I had no fear that Chewie was on that ship at all. But seeing her lightning coming out, I was like, yeah, that's amazing. I'm putting two and two together here. Yeah, okay, she's probably related to the Emperor. I really enjoyed the whole sequence of her doing the flip and cutting the TIE fighter and causing the crash and everything. To me, that was just amazing. One of the best shot sequences out of this new trilogy there is. Maybe the best one. I don't know, but it was truly amazing to see that.
Yeah, so. Ian, what do you got?
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, I just switched over to my headset because loud noises. I apologize about that.
Loud noises. Good.
Anyway, sorry, I'm a little distracted. I liked the Knights of Ren, and I feel like they should have put more emphasis on them. I'm kind of disappointed they didn't.
So anyway, so let's move into Hux's back on the ship, and then
I apologize.
Yeah, you're good. We just got to move on. I don't want to go for another 5 hours. But so Hux is on the ship, and then Chewy comes off of out of the doors, and I remember sitting in the theater in this moment and pretty much being like, they copped out. They really copped out. Like, kind of like you, Adam, like with the Finn thing in the original. Like, I just felt like that would have been like such a much more powerful scene had they just went through with the Chewy thing. Whatever. Here we are. But so then they copped out of Chewy's death. They reveal that he's alive. I was a little upset with that. But then I think we flash over to we flash back to Rey, Finn, and Poe, who are talking about how to find what were we trying to find here? The Wayfinder, right? And then so they need the what was written on the dagger, 3PO.
The Holocrux. The Holocrux.
Right.
Holocron.
Holocron. Thank you.
Yeah, Holocron. Yeah.
It's a Horcrux. It's a Holocron. It's a Voldemort. It's a Potter. It's a Sith. It's a Palpatine. Who knows?
Snape. Severus Snape.
But anyway, so yes, they're trying to find the holocron, and then so they need what's on the dagger. 3PO reveals it's in his memory. He's forbidden to read it off because of the he can't read Sith. Found that to be kind of funny, actually. Poe's getting really irritated at this point, so he's like, okay, we're gonna go to Kijimi, figure all this stuff out. I know a guy over there. He doesn't want to go back to Kijimi because he has a history there. So they all put in their hands, save for Chewy. So they're going to Kijimi. Then they land on Kijimi. One of the characters I really enjoy here is Zori Bliss. I really like Kerry Russell as an actress, and I think that she's pretty cool. Also, I really like Kijimi in general. I think that this planet is super cool with the snow and the buildings. Like I think it's one of the better designed planets in the thing, and yeah, pretty awesome. I actually almost wish we would have spent more time there, but it is what it is. Then we got let's see, we get over to Rey kind of messing people up, because Zori Bliss is threatening to take him. Also, this is where we get the reveal of Poe being Spice Runner. I found this to be funny. Finn just kind of keeps giving him shit about it. Well-deserved shit, because Poe was getting on him earlier about secrets, so I actually thought that was hysterical. Then I liked Rey messing people up. That was cool, and I like that little shot of her and Zori she's aiming the gun at her, and Rey's got the saber at her. She's like, not that it matters to you, but I think you're cool. I thought that was a cool line. Then they're heading over to the guy who can, wipe 3PO's memory bank, essentially. Badu Frick. This is probably my new favorite addition character-wise in this whole thing. This little drunk man is incredibly awesome. He is the best, and he's my favorite line from him is, "Oh boy," like that was just so funny when 3PO shut down. Here we also meet the hair dryer that they used as a droid, Dio. That was also in this part. So yeah, I mean it's all kind of fun stuff. They wipe 3PO's memory bank. That line comes out. That always makes me laugh. Then we have right around here, 3PO's 3PO wakes back up, and he does his whole, hello, I'm C3PO, all that kind of stuff. And then I love Badu going, hello, Badu Frick. And then we got, and then 3PO, hello. And then Poe, that's going to be a problem. We also have the other thing. I like that they mentioned the Battle of Crate in the Poe Zori discussion. I thought that was pretty cool too. That discussion they were having on the rooftop. Rey senses that Kylo Ren is there with the Star Destroyer, and then also that Chewie was on his ship. So Adam, what do you got with all that?
Kijimi is dope.
Yeah.
I really like Kijimi. It's cool. That was a pretty extensive set.
Definitely.
So I always have respect when they do real big practical sets.
Oh yeah, me too.
Yeah, the whole thing, I like everything. I like finding out that he was a spice runner, and you were a spice runner. Were you a stormtrooper? Like, I thought that dialogue was hilarious and quick and snappy.
Yeah.
Yeah. What was the girl's name?
Zori Bliss.
Zori. Yeah, I like Zori. She's super cool, badass. I'd love to see more of her.
So
Honestly,
perfect for Star Wars. I mean, honestly.
oh yeah, great character. Freaking Babu.
Babu Frick.
I love this character. I love this character. Seriously. Probably my favorite new character. Even more than some of the main characters. I like those weird little characters that show up. So hilarious. I love how they actually made like a real like robotic thing for him, and the mouth and the eyes move, like watching the whole animatronic.
Did you see the
stuff
part in
behind
the
that.
doc where they had him say something crazy ridiculous originally in the script, and JJ could not stop laughing, so they were like, okay, we can't do that line. We got to do something
He had him
else.
say "go,
Yeah.
go" for like 20 seconds. That was really funny. The whole C-3PO bit. It was nice to have you had a little emotion there for a moment when C-3PO turns around and thinks about it and says he's going to take one last look at his friends. That was really sad. I felt kind of sad about that. And yeah, wipes his memory and comes back. I'm C-3PO. That was funny.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like all that stuff. Oh, and to rewind, I forgot.
John Williams.
Chewy is alive.
Mm-hmm.
I was gonna say that. I didn't have an issue with Chewy being alive. Obviously, because I'm not heartless, Dom. I'm obviously ecstatic to see Chewy is alive. I didn't feel even slightly similar to when, like, I had talked about how I kind of had wished that Finn had sacrificed himself, because at the time in that movie, he really was sacrificing himself. It was a flip of who his character was. He was a complete coward, and it would have been cool to see a redemption. I think if they would have killed Chewie, the reviews for this movie would have tanked, and I think it would have been a bad choice.
Reviews for this movie did tank.
They would have tanked further, I mean, if they really did kill Chewie, because it would have held no emotional significance or significance to the storyline whatsoever. It wouldn't have pushed anything forward. It just would have eliminated one of our favorite characters.
I would have been out of there, so
Yeah, so I definitely think it was smart to keep Chewie.
Right.
But yes, John Williams cameo, awesome. I love seeing John Williams, and I thought that was really cool that they put 51 items around him, all to represent the 51 movies that he's been nominated for.
Didn't you just tear up a little? Did you tear up a little when you saw it in the doc, man? It was cool, man, to see his reaction to that.
I felt emotional in a lot of places, not only in this movie, but during the documentary. It had me feeling, honestly, like destroyed, like so sad, to make me realize that Star Wars is over. You're seeing John Williams, have a cameo and do his last performance as a composer and everything. So I was really happy to see him in there. It did make me a little emotional.
Yeah. Ian, you good?
Anyway.
That's a no.
Yeah, I'm good. I'm sorry. Can you hear me?
Yeah. So, what do you think of all this?
Okay, I didn't know if you could hear me over everything. Babu Frick. That's it. Babu Frick. Amazing.
Yeah. Oh, 100%.
Honestly, he overshadowed this whole scene.
He really does, though. That's the thing. Like,
I want to see more of him.
3 lines, and all 3 lines overshadow everything.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it's incredible. I mean, yeah, yeah. Please put more Babu Frick in this.
Yeah, I agree. I liked Kijimi.
I want a trilogy.
Yeah, I would like to see more of Kijimi, but Babu Frick just took everything.
Yeah,
I want to see him with his own lightsaber too.
Yes, a mini little lightsaber butter knife. Yeah, I mean, overall, I like this scene, but Babu Frick overshadowed everything. Like the little quippiness, you were a spice runner? You were
that's awesome. That's awesome. 100%.
We could do this all day.
Mark, what do you think of all this?
Put Babu Frick in The Mandalorian because he's freaking amazing.
Yeah. Yes.
We want to see more of him. He's amazing. Yeah, I like him better than most of the other characters in these films. Yeah, love him. More Babu Frick, please. And when we see him again later in the movie, I'm like cheering. Yes, it's Babu Frick. He's coming back. So
Can I
that
make a
was
quick
awesome.
Can I make
Yeah.
a quick interjection? My sister's a heretic and said all three of these movies were horrible. We can continue.
All right.
Does she like Babu Frick though?
I don't know, and I don't really care. Her opinion's wrong.
Yeah, her opinion's wrong,
Except
but
for 8.
tell her to check out Babu Frick, and maybe it'll change her opinion.
Maybe.
Well, you know
'cause
what?
Frick.
Everything is bigger in Texas, including her stupidity.
I'm gonna send this directly. Tom, can you clip this out later, and so I can send it directly to her?
I'll think about it.
Awesome. All
Yeah.
right, let's continue.
All right. So.
I'm sorry, don't hurt me if you see this.
She wouldn't be able to hurt you anyway. She ain't going back to California for shit.
All right, so we're on Ren's Star Destroyer. I like the design of that, by the way. I never really mentioned that. Also, one of my favorite actors, who I think has always kind of belonged in Star Wars, and now they finally got him in
Abu.
one. No, Richard E. Grant,
Rick.
but close.
Yeah, he's all right too.
As General Pride, even though he didn't have a lot to do, I was just kind of happy they got him in one of these. He does really well as Pride. Yeah, so we're in the Star Destroyer. Rey wanders off because she's sensing shit, and then Finn and we can't skip the thing of her waving her hands over and over the stormtroopers and pretty much pulling an Obi-Wan. That was funny, very funny stuff. So then she kind of separates herself from the group. She senses a holocron, so that's what she's going to get. So then Kylo's excuse me. So Kylo, oh no, it's not the holocron, it's the dagger, I think, is what she senses. My bad. So then she goes into the room, and then one of the coolest things ever happens right around here is when they're doing their force connection again, and we've never seen a lightsaber fight happen over one of these, and that stuff is all really awesome. Kylo's trying to tell her he never really told her about her grandparents, and that he was right, the parents were nobody, but you don't know who your grandparents are. All that stuff was pretty cool. I like their little slashing through Vader's helmet. I mean, the entire lightsaber sequence is pretty dope. Daisy Ridley's acting here is top notch again. She's really conveying the emotions very well. On the other end of things, we got Finn and Poe rescuing Chewie. And then we got them. I like their little run and gun moments here with the troopers. I think all this stuff is pretty badass. Kind of reminds me of playing one of the Battlefront games, essentially. But very, very cool. They're running out with Chewie, and then excuse me. So then they go. Once they get Chewie, they get captured. And then Hux. They're getting ready to shoot him down. One of my favorite lines in the thing, and then all the other people get shot around him. Hux is such a cartoon again in this thing. It's I'm the spy. Like, it's just ridiculous, but it's funny though. And it cracks me up because it's like, yeah, that's one of the things they definitely carried over from The Last Jedi for sure, is Hux's personality definitely maintained. I love Poe going, I knew it, Finn. No, you did not. Then they're running off, and then Rey's meeting Kylo Ren down at the what would you call it? The docking bay. I'm sorry. So they're down at the docking bay, and then Kylo tells Rey, one of the biggest moments in the movie, that she is a Palpatine. She's his granddaughter. And just to top this all off, I really, really. And also the fact that Ochi was the one that got sent out to kill her parents, and that was kind of insane, essentially. So that was kind of cool how they connected that back. But so anyway, so then I like, just to top this all off, I like the Rey jumping off to catch the Falcon. I thought that was a really cool moment. And then also the rage in her when she's telling Finn all about now she wants to go out, she's gonna find Palpatine, she's gonna kill him. It's like, oh shit. Yeah, all that stuff is crazy. Adam, what do you got?
Yeah, dude. Kylo and Rey's little interaction on that ship is so freaking cool.
Isn't it?
Like, so cool. And, well, I got a sneeze coming. Maybe not. Okay.
That's you.
Try and make it go away. Yeah, I freaking love their interaction. And may I add that Daisy Ridley is acting her butt off here.
Yes.
Like
Incredible.
she's doing the damn thing. Like I thoroughly enjoy this. And I know so many moments in this movie I want to say this is one of my favorite moments of this movie. But it's one of my favorite moments of the movie. It's so cool. It's epic. It's neat, especially that they're communicating through the Force and they're able to make physical contact. Or wait, is this the point where are they in at this part of the movie? Are they seeing each other in person, or are they connecting through the Force?
Through the Force. They're not in person.
Okay. I just wanted to double check.
Not when they're doing the lightsaber sequence. It's not till when he tells her it's Palpatine, then they meet in person. He's like, I'll come tell you. Then okay.
Right. Okay. Yeah. So I wanted to get that timeline straight. But yeah, that whole thing is really cool. And then when they pull up the Falcon and she jumps on the Falcon and everything, that's all really epic, and everybody's blowing away and holding on for dear life. That's cool. And yeah, I agree. It's cool. Her clearly from this point on, emotionally, she is in a completely different place. She is in a totally different headspace. She is much more intense. She's hell-bent on killing Palpatine. It's kind of a different side of Rey that we have yet to see. So I like all this stuff. I really like this section. I have a hard time saying a lot of bad stuff about this movie, honestly. It's so much fun to watch. So
it's fun to watch. I can't deny that. But the other thing I want to, it's I missed the line too that she says to Finn. It's like where she's like, people keep telling me they know me. I'm afraid no one does. Like, God damn, woman, like you're really tapping into the rage there. It's crazy. We just never really seen that side of Rey, so it was pretty awesome to tap into here. Ian, what do you got about all this stuff?
Okay. I apologize. I don't have a lot because I was kind of distracted, but I really liked General Hux being I'm the
that was hysterical.
I think that all
you're cutting in and out.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, that's better.
Okay. Yeah. I liked the sequences. I don't have a lot to say about it. I apologize. The distractions coming in and out. So let's go ahead and go over to Mark.
Mark, what do you think?
I love General Hux. I think he's great. The fact that he's the spy, I kind of already picked up on it before. I kind of figured that out. I'm thinking it's got to be Hux because he definitely wants to knock Kylo off so he can take over the First Order. So it makes sense for him to be the spy just because he wants to rise to power, and as long as Kylo's there, he's not going to get his chance. So, the fact that he said he was the spy, I kind of already knew that he was going to be. It just made sense to me. But I enjoyed it. I enjoyed his interactions.
Yeah.
Good stuff.
Yeah. Anything on Rey and Kylo in the lightsaber sequence?
Good stuff. Good stuff. I got, I really enjoyed this movie. I enjoyed scene by scene. There's very few scenes in this movie where I want to hit the fast forward button, after rewatching. Of course, first time seeing it, everything, I loved it.
And how did you feel about the Palpatine reveal for Rey?
I kind of figured that was, I've already really put two and two together in my mind. To me, it just kind of made sense after seeing the lightning coming out of her hand. So I'm thinking, that's probably who it's going to be. So the reveal didn't. To me, I kind of already figured it out. Be like, yep, see, I told myself, I'm right. And the movie, you could say that this movie is a little bit predictable in some ways, but I didn't find that to be annoying. I found that to be to adding to my enjoyment. Like, it's turning out to be the way that I'm expecting it to be. I'm figuring it out. To me, that was in a way sort of fan service, versus the last one where none of it was turning out to be the way I wanted it to be, or figuring it out how it's going to be. So I don't know. This one's maybe a little bit more simplistic, but I enjoyed that because it was really the opposite of the last one. So
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely littered with fan service. I personally don't think they overdid it. There's times where you could really overdo fan service. If
There's
anybody
a ton
saw
of it
that,
in this movie.
if anybody saw that last Fantastic Beasts movie, that's a poor way to use fan service. This movie, they did it, I think, just right. I mean, it was enough to make people comfortable, and I definitely understood it all from the business standpoint. And like, let's be honest here. Let's call a spade a spade. I mean, JJ was tasked with something pretty impossible. I mean, he had to come up with something that both him and Disney were happy with, while putting the fan base back together, while ending not just the last two movies but the entirety of the Skywalker saga. It really is a next to an impossible task, and I think
I don't envy him.
Yeah,
I wouldn't do it.
He did a phenomenal job with balancing all that. I do sometimes. It's like the service can be slightly heavy-handed, but like again, I just don't think that they overdid it. I think it was well balanced. For me, I like more of the risk-taking type of stuff where it's a little more different. But that said, JJ tasked with something impossible, and he pulled it off for what he had. So.
I thought a lot of the fan service stuff was, well placed. It was not overused. It was perfect, and a lot of it was stuff that not everybody is going to pick up on unless you're a huge fan. Like some of the shots that they've used in this movie that they purposefully tried to mimic the original trilogy, or when John Williams specifically puts in familiar music in places where he wants you to feel like you're in that same scene that you were in the original. There are a lot of fan service moments in this movie, but they're all done really tastefully. They're not heavy-handed
for the most part. Yeah, I agree with the most part. Like the one that is heavy-handed, we've already touched on, was that council meeting. It just doesn't really work for me anymore. I just find that one to be a little on the nose. That one, and then as far as like simplicity and plot convenience, I talked about the dagger. So we've at this point in the movie, I think everything from where we're talking about out, I love. I think it's some of the best Star Wars I've ever seen. So
I think I was gonna mention this earlier. I forgot. I think the perfect trilogy, like the perfect combination to please the fans and the critics, wouldn't have been just a J.J. Abrams movie and then just a Rian Johnson movie. I think it would have been like a dual directorship between both of them, because JJ,
possibly
his storylines are a lot more in touch with what the fans want, and he gives fan service in tasteful ways, and he's still very creative. And something that Ryan did was almost like, no, you get no fan service. Like Ryan was like, I'm making an original movie. I want to expand this legacy. I want to expand this world. He did a lot of new stuff.
Yeah,
and for that
definitely.
reason, his movie was very creative and it was very expansive. So the critics liked it, but the fans did not like it so much. So I think almost a perfect trilogy could have been if the two of these guys could have worked together and made a great balance of everything throughout and made one long cohesive story.
I don't know though, because if you read Trevorrow's script, I actually don't think that Trevorrow's script that he had originally for this is all that quite amazing either. I mean, I'll put it this way: it's really good. It's awesome. Like I wouldn't have fired him over this script. It's a really awesome script. But it's not necessarily any better than what JJ made. But the script, even that script that he did, it almost feels like a combination of what Ryan was doing and what JJ does here. You know what I mean? And it's like that's actually what that script was more like. So they definitely threw that script out to be a little less risky for sure. But I even reading that script myself as somebody who likes the risk taking, and too, I don't necessarily find that script to be better than what JJ did here. I just think it would be something we'd have to see play out on screen to really come up with a good judgment, though, too.
And I'm not saying that I wanted a better movie than this either by saying that.
No, this movie's great.
Because this movie is phenomenal to me. I was just saying, like, to approach the entire trilogy, like if it could have been
I see what you're
done
saying.
over again, to be more cohesive and cater not only to just longtime fans but new fans and critics. I think based on what we got from the two different directors, the sweet spot would have been a combination of both of their ideals, because they both did things that pleased kind of opposite people at times. So if you could just take elements and piece them together, and also streamline the story more, so the second movie doesn't feel so different from the other two, because I do feel like it feels like a different person directed the middle movie. So just for cohesive purposes. But for what it's worth, the two movies that JJ does direct, I really like him as a Star Wars director.
Yeah.
I honestly do. I wouldn't get rid of him. I would have him do it over again. I really like what he gave us.
Oh yeah, it's clear to me he's a fan. I mean, it really is clear to me he's a big fan of this stuff, and yeah, I mean JJ does a really good job when he hops onto these things, and Ryan too. I think that they do a good job in their respective styles. You know what I mean? So, you okay, Mark?
Yeah, I just got all choked up when you're talking about how good Ryan.
So anyway, so we're moving into the excuse me. So we're moving into
kind of lost it right there. Just oh my god.
Yeah. So Ray tells Finn all that stuff. You could really feel the rage off her, like we were saying. Then they're going to, God damn it, Adam, do you remember the name of the planet that they go to with the horses and all that? I can't think of it off the top of my head.
The horses.
Doesn't it start with an M?
I remember a planet called Pisana. Did we already pass
Pisana.
that?
This is where we're going. Pisana.
Is that what this one's called?
Yep. Pisana. Thank you. So we're going to Pisana. So we land there. And then this is where we meet up with Jana. Another Goonies reference on this. In this little area here too is where she pulls out the dagger. Mark, this might make sense to you. Remember in the Goonies when they take out the bloom or whatever, and then they're matching up the cliffside with the shape and all that. That's kind of a same reference here when she pulls out the dagger. I feel like a really nice little touch when she's matching it up with the Death Star. Pretty cool. I really like Pisana too. The design of it. It feels really like something we'd see in like medieval times. I really dig this planet.
I liked it.
Very open field, very open space. Moving into, I like that the Death Star wreckage is here. I mean, I think it's kind of interesting. I mean, it exploded. It makes sense. It would probably go to all sorts of different planets. And if we're to believe Qui-Gon that like every star is its own planet, I mean, that's like, it makes a lot of sense. A lot of people were mad that it wasn't on the Forest Moon of Endor. It's like, well, wouldn't have all landed there. I mean, it blew like everywhere. So, I mean, that's great construction on that throne room for sure for it to last the way it did.
Oh.
But anyway, so
They had union contractors working on it.
Union contractors, right? Yeah, Mark remembers the clerk conversation. Clerk's conversation. Yeah,
that's right.
Oh yeah. So there. I like this though, where Ray goes off on the skiff. Well, first let's talk about Finn and Jana. I think we can all admit that this was a much better pairing than Rose and Finn. These two
Hands down.
get along really
I
well.
like their chemistry.
Oh my god,
they do
yes.
really well. Yeah, definitely.
Oh my god, yes. Much better.
I like her character a lot.
Yeah, she was pretty cool, and it was awesome to see that Finn had somebody else. And this is kind of where, somebody else like another stormtrooper that escaped and that he wasn't the only one, and her finding out that he's not the only one. She's not the only one. I don't know if they didn't really like tease a relationship necessarily, but they're friends. And it was cool that Finn was able to find a friend in her and, confide in her what he was eventually going to, what he was going to tell Ray about the Force thing. He decided to confide in Jana, and I think that's pretty cool. Ray going off on the skiff though was really, really fun stuff. Only because it's like she's done, man. She's losing all patience, which is a no for her because of that's not something the Jedi should do. But she's going off. She's not waiting until tomorrow to get over there. She heads onto the wreckage. She is searching around, and then this is one of the coolest scenes in the whole world. she's on there. She goes down that little hallway thingy, and then she gets a dark side vision of Dark Ray. Pretty awesome. That saber's pretty cool. That the whole fight between the two. Daisy Ridley performing as Dark Ray is awesome too. The "Don't be afraid of who you are" line is great. Then she does that whole thing. It's all really great stuff. Then they quit fighting, and then she comes out with the holocron, and then Kylo finds out that she's going after it. And I mean, I really get the sense here too, like Kylo is still in his mind wanting to help Rey in these moments. Like he doesn't want to kill Rey. He really doesn't. He wants Rey to join him, and that's all he wants. And I really enjoy that about their relationship, is that, you know, I don't even think any of them really want to hurt each other at the end of the day. Well, maybe Rey right here. But yeah, so we get one of the coolest lightsaber fights right around here too. I like this a lot. One of the things I say about the saber fight all around is that it brings the silence back. It kind of brings it back to the Empire Strikes Back days where there was silence. There wasn't music really going behind the saber fights, which is something we're used to. I don't think it's as cool of a lightsaber moment as the throne room in Last Jedi necessarily, but I think it is pretty close and a really awesome fight. And like, I love the fury coming off both these guys. Rey especially is bringing the fury, and in my opinion is why she loses this fight, essentially, is because you know, she lost all patience. I mean, Kylo was getting ready to bust her right before, you know, Leia stepped in and helped and distracted, which Leia pretty much becomes one with the Force as Luke did. One of the more poetic things about that too is that all the Skywalkers up until this point have sacrificed themselves for somebody else, right? I think that's a pretty cool poetic little thing, and including Kylo at the end of this movie, which we'll get to. But yeah, I think it's a cool little poetic thing there. But yeah, it was a pretty great fight. Then when Leia passes through, Ben gets distracted, and I mean, I find it interesting that Leia passed through to, I feel, help Rey and not Ben here in this moment. And Rey puts the saber through him, and I'm not gonna lie to you guys, I thought he was done when she does this. And then when I was sitting in the theater, I was like, she got his ass. I mean, that was it. But then she comes over, Force heals him, and I love the line, "I did want to take your hand, Ben's hand," and you know, this kind of made. This is good for both the characters, right? It made Ben realize that, you know, maybe I should start thinking about, you know, turning back to the light. She saved me, and then Rey as well. Like, I got to get out of this fury stage and cool the jets a little bit here. So it was really beneficial, the moment, for both the characters. And then she hops in the ship and then takes off. Anyway, what do you guys think of all this, Adam?
I'm a fan.
Yeah.
I'm a big fan. This planet is really cool. I liked watching the behind the scenes of when they were going to shoot and they had to wait around because it was sunny and they needed it to be cloudy. I think that perfectly shows the frustration of filming a scene when you need it to be just perfect and they had to wait around all day for clouds to come back.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like it. I like the muted colors. It felt like all the colors were really muted to really it set the mood. It made it feel different because, you know, up until this point, this whole movie is pretty colorful. And then you get to this planet and it kind of feels like the color sucked out of it. I like the Death Star sitting in that ocean. Once again, the behind the scenes, how they went back and they actually looked at the blueprints and the schematics and they made 3D models. And, you know, they were playing around which part of the Death Star should we put here so it's believable? And then, you know, they talked about how they realized, oh, shoot, the Death Star is really big. It's like 90 miles across. We can't put as much of this as we thought. So I like how they purposefully tried to be as accurate as possible so that you couldn't gripe about it. And the throne room, the recreation of the throne room and how they aged it and beat it up and ran stuff over with forklifts to make it look destroyed and all of that behind the scenes stuff is really cool.
Oh, yeah.
And then seeing Dark Side Rey is just very cool, very exciting.
Oh.
I can hear Ian already. All things are bigger in Texas, including Ian. So, yeah. And then we see that fight between her and Kylo. Oh, it's so cool.
Isn't it?
And they made it epic, and JJ talked about how he wanted it to be epic. He just wanted it to be them surrounded by the elements, and the water beating down on it, real water, thousands of gallons of water shooting up and crashing down on Daisy Ridley. And also a little side note, I thought it was cool that Adam Driver insists on doing all of his stunts. I thought that was pretty funny.
He won't let anybody touch his stunts.
Where the
Keanu Reeves here.
The stunt coordinator is like trying to get him to use a stunt double, and he's like insistent that he does his stunts. I thought that was funny. This whole fight scene is phenomenal. I mean, obviously it has great meaning, great emotion behind it. And then, like you said, Leia giving herself up for somebody else and comes in and saves the day by being a distraction and connecting. And then we kind of see Kylo get a taste of his own medicine, just like his dad takes a lightsaber through the gut. And it did make me question: is he dead? Are we about to lose Kylo? Like, this is huge. And she decides to heal him, and it's powerful, man. It's so incredibly powerful. And then she takes off, and
in his whatchamajigger, tie silencer or whatever it's called. Like, I thought that was kind of funny. That's what they call his. Yeah, his is called the tie silencer. Yeah.
Okay, I did not know that. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
And then did we talk about Han?
Not
Ghost
yet. We're
coming
gonna
back?
wait on that. Mark, what do you got on the Rey Kylo duel?
I like the planet. I love the fight scene. It was great. I love the fact that Finn shows up and she like freaking just force knocks his ass out.
Oh yeah, that's a good scene. We gotta look at too.
I thought that really, to me, that was just like, Finn, you need to mind your own business, right? Just back off and mind your own business. And she took care of that real quick. With the dark side Rey part. I really like the dark side Rey. The implications there and how she was kind of portraying herself at that point. I probably, some of my favorite stuff in this film was her teetering on the brink there.
Yeah.
And
very
I
cool.
really like that. Stabbing, Kylo, again, I'm thinking, all right, she did this force healing back with this creature earlier. I figured when we saw that, I was like, this is a setup. This is a plant. So we're going to see this again later.
Yeah.
And of course, I'm thinking, she's going to stab him and now she's going to freaking save him. So a little predictable maybe, but again, it didn't take anything away from me. I enjoyed it. I was like, yes, I'm glad this movie is kind of predictable in some ways because it is unfolding as I'm unfolding it in my head as I'm watching this. So it's like, all right, this is the Star Wars I've been waiting for so long. So that's my take on it.
Ian?
So Darkside Rey. Oh yes, hands down. I got erect last night when that happened too. So onto the fight. I loved the fact that it was just raw. There was no music. You just had the environment. You had them. You had the sounds of the sabers. The coordination was on point. I want to take a little bit of a dissecting here with the Rey just saying no and force pushing Finn.
Oh no, yeah, that's awesome. Yeah.
I want to dissect that a bit.
Sure.
So I feel like there's more to it than her just saying stay out of the business. I feel like a little bit of dark side peeked out of her at that moment because she went back to the point where Finn got slashed in the back. I think that's what happened in her head. She was like, I got this dude here, I got Finn behind me. Maybe that can happen again.
That's a really awesome take, actually. I really like that perspective.
And I think that's why she screeched no, like that. Like there was a lot of emotion behind that no, and I feel like there was a lot of unread emotion behind it too.
Yeah.
So, the fight was amazing. I was erect through that whole thing. So dark side Ray started my erection, and then Kylo Ren was the ejaculation when he like fucking got stabbed through the chest, and I was like,
Good thing this movie's not 4 hours, or you'd have to call a doctor.
God dang Viagra. But, so I mean, like, I feel like the whole thing was really well shot. I loved their coordination. I loved their actions. I loved the
Oh, yeah.
just the
Oh, yeah.
emotion through their movements, and I loved the unread emotion that I didn't even catch on to until we just started having this conversation. I was like, you know what? Finn got slashed in the back. So I love that. No, I love that unread emotion behind that.
Yeah.
And I love the fact that she was like, I want to hold Ben's hand, and the realization he's like, damn, that's deep.
Mhm.
Damn, bro, that's deep. But that's pretty much my take on it.
Yeah, I mean, they built that relationship throughout the entire Skywalker saga, and it's really coming to a head here in this film, and it's really fantastic to finally see play out. But then to the scene that makes me tear up quite a bit when I see it. Han showing up. Hey, kid. Him replaying this memory is amazing, and it's emotional. And I teared up again, goddamn it, when I was watching it today. It really is just one of these moments that it's awesome, man. I mean, when you just really think about, I don't know, the entirety of the Skywalker saga right here, and you're just like you're bringing it all to a close, and you're starting to get some real purpose to these characters that we first seen in the original trilogy. It's really something else. Well, let's start with Han. Let's kind of keep this in a little bubble. Adam, what do you think of the Han Solo moment here?
And it's emotional, dude.
It is.
It really is.
They play the scene so well. That's what makes it.
It's huge. It's huge. And I have to say, call me crazy, but as much as initially seeing Han die hurt, I'm okay with it for the sake of this story, because it turned into something really beautiful. And
Oh, yeah.
I think Harrison Ford is 100% right. When you look at him talking about this and behind the scenes stuff, it's clear that Harrison Ford, despite how he seems, he does care about this character. He does care about these movies. I mean, it's a big part of his life.
Yeah.
And he says in the interview, like, I didn't just want to kill Han Solo. Like, I wanted him to go in a way that would benefit this story, and that would
He wanted purpose
push.
to Han.
He wanted purpose. He wanted it to be bigger than himself, to push other characters forward. And he says, Han's death significantly impacted the story, and it propelled Kylo's character forward. And that's exactly, what I said when I left the theater for the first of this trilogy. Even though I was upset, I was okay with it if it propelled this character forward. And we see in this movie that Han, he had to die to impact Kylo the way that he ended up impacting him.
Oh,
And
yeah.
it makes the whole thing poetic. It makes it beautiful. It really gives his death purpose. And seeing him come back and talk to Kylo is just, it's magnificent.
Yeah.
It's beautiful. And then we get that moment where Kylo repeats that line where he says, I know what I have to do, but I don't know if I have the strength to do it. And then he ends up throwing his lightsaber. And man, it's so cool. I love this. This is a very, very heartfelt moment in this movie, much needed. Something that I think every fan can agree that we needed this bad, and we're glad that we had it. So
Oh, yeah. Mark, what do you think of Han and Kylo?
Well, I was heartbroken when they killed him in the first one. You guys can all say, well, if it drove the story, and Harrison says that, whatever. I can't agree. I don't want Han Solo to die, and he should have lived. He should have been alive at the end of this one. But be that as it may, and it wasn't. And I didn't get what I wanted. At least I got him coming back in this one, at least for a minute or two. So that was very cool, and that was a surprise. I didn't realize he was going to be in it. I hadn't seen spoilers on that or read anything on that. So the fact that he was back was a surprise, and I freaked out. I'm like, oh my God, freaking Han Solo is back. I'm losing it. I'm losing my mind here. It's like, okay, they're making up for the dastardly deed that they pulled on us in the first one, and then making us sit through that second one. It's like, all right, they're making up for it now. I'm loving this, and that's pretty much it.
For the record, how do you feel about Arnold sacrificing himself at the end of Terminator 2 for the greater good? Just out of curiosity.
Terminator 2 was a perfect film. You
Thank
don't get a lot of
Ian.
You don't get a lot of perfect films, and that was a perfect film. So I'll just leave it at that. Very simple.
Okay, Ian, how'd you feel about? Thank you, Mark. How'd you feel about the Han and Kylo moment?
I can't put a lot of input in because Adam kind of covered most of how I felt, to be honest. It was definitely, and you did as well. It was definitely heart wrenching. It was like, oh, you all three did. You all three put in great input. And I can't really follow up. It was heart wrenching. It was awesome. It was powerful. It honestly did make me cry. A lot of scenes in this movie actually did kind of make me tear up a bit. I was like, damn, this is like
movie's
the last
emotional,
one.
dude.
Yeah, very much.
Really is. It's like even stupid scenes just kind of made me tear up. Just like, this is the last time I'm going to see Babu Frick.
No, he's coming back in Mandalorian, right? He's got to.
Yeah, that's right.
Got to. He's got his own
Got to.
standalone movies. He's got a
They'll
trilogy.
find a
He's gonna
spot
have
for
2
Babu.
lightsabers.
They'll find a spot for Babu, I'm sure.
Mandalorian is like 15 years before like the rise, before all this shit.
Well,
so,
Babu
He's gonna
Frick's
have
probably
his
like
own-
300 years old, so of course he's going to be in it, right?
Yeah.
Oh,
He's gonna have his own scale
I don't know.
model
We'll see. I hope
Millennium
so.
Falcon that he drives.
Yes.
A little miniature Falcon.
All right, so
His little mini lightsaber.
let's move into Poe and Finn. They're heading back to Ajon Kloss. So yeah. Oh, we forgot to mention too. I don't think anybody mentioned the throw of the lightsaber was amazing. Kylo's saber into the water, pretty cool stuff. But anyway, so sorry. So we're moving.
Actually, I felt like he shouldn't have thrown his lightsaber away.
Okay, Mark.
I agree with that statement, to be honest.
I like the symbolism.
It was symbolic.
Yeah.
It was for the story.
Yeah, I
It
liked
was.
it.
God damn it.
But it was a cool lightsaber.
He dies like 15 minutes later. What's the matter? Sorry, but go ahead. But just moving back into it. Poe and Finn. Sorry, Poe and Finn go into the. They're heading back to Ajon Kloss. They find out Leia's dead. This is another very emotional moment, especially Poe sitting by her deathbed saying, "Gotta tell you, I don't know how we're gonna do this." I mean, it was just really emotionally played, and how we're supposed to do this without you, and then we don't know how. And then Lando comes in and is like, "Neither did we," and that's pretty cool. And he's he's talking about
I was like that too.
it was. So that's just how Billy D delivers all his lines, right? It's like at the end when he's talking to Jana, it's like, I don't know where I came from. Well, let's find out.
Hey, Chewbacca.
Oh, we forgot to mention he did call Chewy Chewbacca in this one too. It was pretty awesome. But anyway. Sorry, so we're going into that scene, and then I like that Poe wants to kind of make Finn the number 2 guy, and then Finn's over there realizing, oh, by the way, when Finn's talking to Dio and Dio says, "I miss her," when he's talking about Rey, I'd be like, motherfucker, you didn't even know her, but whatever. So
He's allowed to have feelings, Dom.
Whatever.
Yeah, Dom.
So
I like Dio. I don't care what you say.
He's fine. He just shouldn't have missed Rey.
I'm a fan of the droids.
I know you are. So then he realizes, what Rey was kind of trying to do, and so him and Finn meet up And one of my favorite things here is the general. That's such a great line. Makes me laugh every time I see it. And then I like, oh my gosh, I get the chills, man, when they gather up the resistance for one last fight, and dun 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 dun, dun, and then just like the whole speech that Poe and Finn give over that. And we'll cut off there before we get into Rey on Octo. But what do you think of all that, Adam?
Still digging it. The story is really driving hard. I mean, we are just chugging along, and I am completely captivated at this point in the movie, holding my breath. And I like the emotion with Leia being gone and Poe kind of feeling hopeless, and then you got Lando coming in and being Lando. Despite any issues I might have with Billy D's delivery on some of his lines, it's an emotional moment. I think it's really cool. I think it's something that meant a lot to JJ when he put it in there, and he had a purpose for it, and you could tell that. So I thought that was a really cool moment.
Yeah.
It's really heartfelt.
We had
then
each other.
And going into that battle, I mean, like you said, you got the music playing. It's epic. You got two generals. I thought that was cool that he gave Finn some credit, gave him some responsibility. I thought that was nice that they spread the wealth there. I'm excited to go into battle at this point. I'm chomping at the bit.
Oh yeah. Mark, what do you think of all this?
I'm sending a message.
All right, Ian, go ahead.
Before you send that message, Mark, did you like that? I'm sorry.
Read my message, and you'll find out.
Okay, that's perfect. Sorry, little distraction. I saw something that I could not pass up looking up, and it's in the Facebook group. But anyway, I loved how they got us all rallied up. I feel like they put a lot of power into our feelings. They're like, we're about to go, fuck some shit up, and we're just like, hell yeah, we are. I like. You enjoy that, Dom?
Yeah,
you enjoy
it was
that?
pretty good.
That was pretty good. I don't know if Adam saw it. I think he did, but
I saw
it. Anyway, I apologize for the interruption.
Oh, go ahead.
Anyway, I liked the planning. We're at the point of planning, right?
Yeah.
I'm not jumping.
Yeah, they're planning it out. Yeah.
I liked the planning. It was reminiscent of what episode 4, the ending of episode 4, where they're planning on taking out the Death Star.
Yeah, I guess a little bit. I mean, not really. I mean, yeah, kind of though. Yeah,
it gave me a little bit of nostalgia there.
More subtle in episode 4, so it's a different type of planning. But sure, yeah.
I felt like it was still like, oh yeah, it's not like necessarily nostalgic, but it's definitely like, it's nice to see the planning end of things and not it just going down. Like,
yeah.
It's not too often we see the planning end, so the planning end is nice to see everybody just be like, I'm fucking pumped, I'm ready to get this done, but I'm also terrified.
Yeah, I mean, and with the size of the resistance at this point, it's almost like they're just ready to do a suicide mission, pretty much.
I think that's what they definitely prepared themselves for.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy,
like,
but
it's do and die moment.
Pretty much. So let's cut into Rey on Octo. She's throwing shit. She's pretty pissed off. I, again, really like the acting that's going on here with Daisy Ridley. She's really performing the hell out of the scene. But this is the other moment Mark jumped up in the theater and cheered. She threw the lightsaber. Luke Skywalker caught it. Said that a Jedi's weapon deserves more respect. Now, a lot of people, let me push back on this. A lot of people are thinking that JJ saying F you, Rian Johnson. I think it's completely different. I think the Luke that was at the end of The Last Jedi would have done the exact same thing. I think that was, the whole point of the arc in Last Jedi was for, to get that Luke Skywalker back. He would have done the exact same thing. I don't feel like it was an FU to Ryan at all. I think it really honored what Ryan had done before. And if he really didn't want to honor Ryan in this movie and what he did in The Last Jedi, he would have just found a way to bring Luke Skywalker back to life in the beginning of this. So he definitely kept the honor there and stayed consistent with everything. And yeah, it made a lot of sense to me. Yeah, so he grabs the lightsaber, tells Rey the entire story. You know, Leia knew she was a Palpatine. You know, he knows she's a Palpatine. You know, I think this is all really awesome stuff. And I mean, I almost wonder if you know, that moment in The Last Jedi when he was meditating and then he kind of connected with Leia in that moment. You know, they were kind of telling each other that, you know, we know she's a Palpatine. Like, I wonder if that was the moment. Yeah, were they kind of connected? But then he brings Rey into the hut. He's like, you know, got my sister's saber. She would want you to have this. I found that to be amazing. Another very emotional scene in the movie. I mean, it's awesome to see Luke and Leia training from back in the past. They actually did, I think, the best they probably could as far as de-aging goes here with the flashback. I thought it was really fucking awesome. Cool to see. And then my favorite moment, I cry every time this happens, is Luke pulling that fucking X-Wing out of the water, man. It was so cool just to see, like, the smile on his face, and just it was a real feel-good moment. The original score from Empire, when Yoda was pulling it out, they did a phenomenal job on that, and this is awesome and poetic and amazing. Adam, what do you think of all this stuff?
Yeah, man, Luke comes up, and obviously we're ecstatic to see him, and you know, he's back to the old Luke that we know and love. And I agree with you. It's definitely not a diss to the previous film in the slightest, because you know, that story arc, it you know, closed itself, and
Yeah.
he's come full circle.
Yeah.
And he comes back as who we love, and at this point, he's realized just who Rey is and just how important she is, and he's got faith in her, and
Yeah.
he needs her to continue, and he realizes her importance. So I like that he catches the saber, and he kind of talks her up a little bit, talks some sense into her, and then, you know, like you said, we got the special moment where we get to see Luke and Leia training. You know, JJ threw that in there for us. I thought that was really cool.
Yeah.
That's another one of those moments where you know that he's a fan, and you could see that in the behind the scenes that,
Oh yeah.
you know, he had to put that in there. I also thought it was really cool that they used Carrie Fisher's daughter to actually be
Oh yeah,
in the helmet
that was very
and,
cool.
and play her.
Yeah.
That's so cool, man. That's awesome.
Yeah.
I'm sure that meant a lot to her too. So then, you know, you got that emotional moment where Luke is bringing the ship out of the water, and you know, it's composed just like it was, you know, back in the originals, and it feels so nostalgic, but it's all come full circle. You know, we had talked about in the last one how, you know, there were a lot of parallels with Luke and Yoda, and you know, now he has stepped into that role, and I think it's great. It's really emotional. You know, I wonder how the ship works after all this time, but it's a detail that I don't, at this point in the movie, I'm thinking, how on earth is that ship gonna work? Oh, who am I kidding? I don't care.
Yeah.
We don't go to Star Wars for science.
No.
Yeah, we
never
don't
do.
care. We don't care. It works. It's been under there. It's probably been on the whole time.
Mark, what do you got?
It's waterproof.
It's waterproof. Yeah, it's been running under there. It's a boat too. It's a submarine.
Right. You remember Speed Racer's car, you know, the Mach 5 goes underwater all the time, right? It's a submarine.
Yeah.
As well.
Mark, go ahead.
Yeah, I love this whole part. I do think, at least my opinion, it was a good FU to Ryan Johnson with the
God damn it.
lightsaber. And that's what I think it is, and I like that, so I'm going with that. You guys have a different take, but that's okay. I prefer the FU to Ryan Johnson. That's just my opinion.
Well, if it helps you sleep
Um,
at night, it helps you sleep at night. But how in the hell is it an FU to Ryan Johnson, though? I'm still confused on that. The Luke at the end of The Last Jedi would have done the same exact thing. It doesn't make any sense to me how that's an FU.
because it makes perfect sense. Ryan Johnson made him throw it away, and now he's stopping her from throwing it away.
Right,
And
because
giving it
Ryan,
back to her.
thank God, brought us back the Luke that we all know
It's
and love
just
at the
a-
end of The Last Jedi.
It's just a symbolic moment. It brings the plot full circle.
It flips it on Ryan Johnson basically.
I don't know what that has to do with anything, but
I like it.
again, I'm glad it helps you sleep at night. Whatever. Good.
It does. It helps me sleep nice. It really does. But no, I liked it. I love the X-wing coming out. It made me, very excited to see that. And then, one thought crosses my mind. Okay, he's pulling the X-wing out for her. He could have freaking done that in the last movie, and Ryan Johnson could have saved the damn movie, and I could have had a whole new opinion on it if he would have not been, projecting himself and then died. He could have flown there and been there and kicked some ass.
Stay on
In
target.
person. So, I digress, but yeah. I had that brief moment, of clarity when I see the X-wing, and I'm like, okay, he could have just done that, and The Last Jedi could have turned out to be such
Stay
an
on
amazing
target.
ending. Such an amazing ending. But we kind of went over that one for 5.5 hours last week. So anyway,
Yeah.
but
That was
yeah,
a grueling 5.5
X-wing
hours.
coming out makes perfect sense to me. Of course, she's gonna get on there and she's gonna go save the day. So good. Let's go.
All right,
I love
Ian,
how
go ahead.
Adam's smirking this whole time.
Go ahead, Ian.
I just think it's funny. If Mark is a director, everybody lives, nobody's dead.
All right. No
I'm a
stakes at
director,
all in that
everybody's
movie.
fine.
Go
I
ahead,
wouldn't
Ian.
have killed off Hux though in this one. I wouldn't have done that.
I agree with that.
Oh, we
statement.
forgot about that. Pride shooting Hux, but yeah.
At least not until the very end. He might have died, but he would have made it until the throne room or until the very
In
end.
my movie, Babu
agree.
comes back riding on the Millennium Falcon with 2 lightsabers, and he saves the day. He kills the Emperor.
Yeah,
Here you
get
go.
Babu in
Oh,
there
I'm
and
Babu
save the
Frick.
day. Why not?
In Ian's
right?
version, the same thing happens, except he drinks blue milk afterwards.
Fuck yes. Fuck yes. This movie's done. Anyway.
Yeah, talk about Luke.
So, damn it, I got lost. I really like the fact that we have quippy Luke back. I like the fact that I have to agree with Dom. I really think it brings the plot full circle. Well, Dom and Adam, I think it brings the plot full circle, and I think that Luke would hands down do this. The Luke that we got at the end of Last Jedi would hands down do the same thing. Outside of that, I liked the anti-aging they did for Luke and Leia. I liked the training. I liked the little background there. I apologize. I kind of lost all my thought because Mark was making me laugh really hard, even though he digressed.
I did a little bit.
The scene is great. It made me cry. I thought it was very powerful. I like this. I like kind of the nostalgic feeling of him doing what his master did for him.
Yeah. It was very,
I
very
apologize
great.
for my bad
No.
review of that part.
Oh no, you're fine. But yeah, no, man. I mean, this stuff is super awesome. Then we get into the Battle of Exegol, as it is. Oh boy, this is some pretty awesome stuff. I mean, we got the horses riding. Where do I begin? Even I mean, we got the horses riding on the thing. Well, the ships are coming in. Then we lower the horses onto the starfighter or whatever. It's all amazing. Rey's going into Exegol. She's confronting Palpatine. He explains to her his plan. He wants her to kill him and then take his life essence, essentially become Empress Palpatine. This is pretty awesome stuff. We also got Kylo running into the cave. I like that Kylo Ren's only line in the third and final act is "ow." By the way, I just think that's hilarious. He jumps onto that thing and "ow." It's his like only line in this third act. I don't know what the artistic purpose of was to that was, but whatever. It's funny. And he goes down, and I like that he's running with a blaster, man. He's really got his he's embracing the Solo side of his family here for sure. Coming in with the blaster and gunning down some people, and it's pretty awesome stuff. Poe up in the sky. I mean, we can analyze this whole battle, but I think finally people are just getting taken down. Even Snap Wexley dies in this moment, which is one of he's kind of a fan favorite, so he dies in this moment. Then we get Poe, I love the line here. My friends, I'm sorry, and he said there's just too many of them, and Lando, oh, there's more of us, Poe, there's more of us. He comes in. But the chills that you get, the goosebumps I get when I see all the ships, man, it's still really amazing, and hits me.
Quick interjection.
Yeah.
I love how dry Lando is in that part, but it's still so fulfilling.
Oh,
he's dry all the time.
That's his trick.
I know.
His personality.
That's his trick.
It's so perfect.
Yeah. So yeah, he's flying in with all these ships, and the Lando, you did it. I mean, it's all really chill inducing. What do you guys think of all this, Adam?
Oh man, when they go into that battle, this whole freaking scene, Exegol is amazing looking, is so cool.
Oh, yeah.
So dark. This movie, especially this scene, it's closer to what I talk about all the time, my dream Star Wars movies, how I would want them to be like dark and dirty and like rated R, like just evil. This is as close that we've gotten to that.
Sure. Yeah.
Really, this whole movie is extremely dark compared to what we're used to.
Oh yeah.
But Exegol, so dark, so cool. When you see all of those freaking destroyers lined up, just the sheer number of them is incredible. And then, they're getting their butts kicked. You've got them coming out on animals, and I thought that was amazing because they can't screw up their technology if they're not using technology. So I thought that was a smart move. We see Finn touching into his Force abilities, and then like you said, you thought it was funny that Kylo's only line was "ow."
Yeah,
I laughed at that too.
Kind of interesting.
It's just like a quick moment of silence. Ow.
Yeah.
I thought that was hilarious. And then, all the ships showing up, and there's Lando, and it gets you the chills because, you feel genuine hopelessness. You see ships falling from the sky and everything. And it's just, I love everything about it. We'll probably talk about the Emperor stuff separately, won't we?
Yeah, obviously, yeah, we'll get into that.
Obviously, we want to talk about that.
Yeah, Mark, what do you think about the Exegol space battle? Mostly, I guess.
Loved Lando, showing up with the Falcon.
Yeah.
Lando and Chewy, here we go. This is what this franchise needed right here.
Yeah, Babu Frick's back here. We can't forget that. Hey.
And then Wedge Antilles showing up was just like, oh my God, it's Wedge Antilles. I'm freaking out.
Oh yeah, here. Wedge is in this too. Hell yeah. Right. I forgot about Wedge.
I'm like losing my mind. We got Wedge Antilles. We got Chewie and Lando and the Falcon. And we got pretty much every freaking spaceship there ever was here. So like, all right, this is amazing stuff.
Yeah.
And then seeing the Emperor's fleet, and him doing all. I mean, to me, that was just as awesome as seeing the Rebel fleet.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, okay, well, this is going to be a pretty cool battle. We've got got some heavy. We got a heavy good guys and heavy bad guys fleet. This is going to be pretty awesome. So I'm pretty happy with all that, and loving Lando's dialogue and line delivery, and Billy D's the man. He goes back to what I said earlier. I felt like if they would have incorporated him into Last Jedi, maybe he could have saved the film.
Ian, what do you think of this stuff on Exegol, minus the before the Emperor?
Mark, fucking Mark.
That's right.
I really liked all of the battle. This is my favorite space battle that we've had yet, like hands down. It's amazing. Visually, it's phenomenal. I'm pumped the whole time. I'm like, yeah, they're gonna fucking destroy. They're just gonna, they're gonna hammer it all in, and then, that sense of like, oh, we're losing, and then Lando's like really dry. Yo, what up? we here. We in this bitch.
How you doing, Chewbacca?
Chewbacca. I can't believe this man's called him Chewbacca. Anyway, I liked the sense of tides, the changing of tides, the emotion kind of being, it fluctuates a bit, and it makes you feel a little different throughout the whole battle. Like, you have that sense of hope, that sense of loss, that sense of, oh, it's all coming together. It's like it's about to, hammer in. So I feel like all that's amazing, and I laughed so hard the moment Ben hit that fucking chain, and he was like, "Ouch!" and he looked like, "Why'd that hurt me?"
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I mean, I'm with you, man. I mean, this stuff is pretty cool.
It's emotional.
So now, one of the biggest bummers about it to me, though, if I could say, is, yeah, we get some cool stuff once the fleet comes in, the big Resistance fleet. But I feel like the space battle should have. Yeah, I feel like the space battle should have gone on just a little bit longer, personally, just to really get a little bit more action with them. But I feel like we got some cool stuff. So all right.
You know what would have made the scenes better?
No, blue milk. No, never mind. All right, so moving into the Emperor.
You almost walked right into that.
So moving into the Emperor. Yeah, it's pretty awesome stuff. I mean, Kylo's coming in, and he's kind of at a, between a rock and a hard place with the Knights of Ren at this point. He's kind of done blasting them through, and then Rey, and the Emperor, I mean, is great stuff. And then, she's got this very scared look on her face. I like this. This is amazing. And he's telling her to ignite that saber, and then she, through the Force, Zoom, Force Skype, whatever you want to call it, she sees Kylo, man, and then she just puts that saber behind her back, and awesome fucking moment. Lifts her hand, there's no saber there. Kylo comes up with the saber. I mean, this is just incredible. This is incredible Star Wars right here. And then her and Rey, him and Rey both go apeshit on people. Kylo comes and meets her in the other room, and then, your connection will be your downfall. Palpatine figures out they're dying out in the Force. Pulls out whatever that was. I mean, I guess they're a part of their soul, almost, is kind of how I looked at that. In order to, or life essence, I suppose, and then just
reverse healing.
Pretty much. And things start growing back. Then we get Palpatine in full form, and then, oh my gosh, the sound design and the look of his lightning coming out is something else, man. Just going up to those ships, and I think it's awesome. And then it's blowing up motherfuckers, and then I think Kylo goes after him first, and then he pushes Kylo off the cliff. Then Rey comes up and tries to no, Rey's still on the ground. I'm sorry. Rey is sitting there trying to reach out to the Jedi of the past, and they kind of go back to the line, be with me, and you hear all these Jedi. It's amazing. I mean, I heard Ahsoka Tano in there. I hear Kanan Jarrus in there. I hear Mace Windu's in there, Anakin's in there, Qui-Gon's in there, Obi-Wan's in there, Yoda's
Basically
in there.
everybody ever.
It's true.
Everybody that's been recorded at this point.
Everybody ever except for Ezra Bridger for some odd reason is not in that. But whatever.
Yeah, that's weird.
Yeah, it is. Well, I don't know. We'll see what happens.
Is Rebels finished, by the way? I apologize to ask.
Yeah, Rebels is finished after season 4.
Okay.
Um,
I just started it last night.
Oh, okay. Yeah, you definitely got to finish that. It's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
I recommend finishing Rebels before Mando season 2 if possible, just because I feel like there's going to be a lot there that's going to connect with Rebels. So
Ooh.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Go on. I apologize. Go on.
But already kind of has in season 1 slightly, but it's going to be many more connections.
Prevalent.
Definitely
Much
more prevalent in season 2, I would think, from what I'm hearing. But anyway, so getting into that, yeah, but the one voice, I mean, it's amazing to watch her just struggle to get up, and then finally she gets up, and we got the I am all the Sith, and I like the sound of the saber just coming at her hand. It's pretty awesome. I'm all the Jedi, and then she does the thing. The music pops in. The whole Binary Suns theme is back, and then she comes in, and then she kills the Emperor. Now, a lot of people complained about how Rey was able to kill the Emperor, and so many people have attempted it before, the lightning thing, and why couldn't they do it? I think a lot of people need to realize that, like, it took Rey's life. Like, it literally took her life to do something like this. So it's like, it wasn't like it was an easy task for her to do, and people are talking and complaining like this was something that was supposedly easy for her to do, and it wasn't. Obviously, she died doing this, and had she not, like, actually died doing this, I would have been a little bit more upset with it, obviously, because it was like, well, yeah, anybody could have done that, but it took her life to do it. Adam, what did you think of all that?
Oh man. Dude, the Emperor looks so gnarly with his busted fingers and glossed over eyes, and dude, the makeup on him was phenomenal. Looked so menacing. That whole building they were in, they talked about how they wanted that place to look massive. They wanted Rey to look tiny in that place because it's this massive temple with all this history. They did an amazing job. It felt really ominous, especially with the whole crowd of people around them. It felt very dark. And you got Kylo battling, and the whole passing the lightsaber behind the back. I was like, oh, freaking out when I saw that. That was so incredible. I think all the stuff between Rey and Palpatine is great. That dialogue is great. Anytime Palpatine's on the screen, I have no issues. He is like always the standout character in all of these movies. He is the most consistently amazing character, flawless delivery, amazing voice. They like put some like bass in his voice to make your pants quake. And man, when he sucks the life out of him and shoots that lightning up in the sky and the rebel ships start falling out, so much emotion. It was so heavy, so dark. And then you see Kylo get thrown into that ditch there, and the whole I am 1,000 generations or whatever of Sith, and she's like, and I Jedi, and she pulls out that second lightsaber.
It's cool, man.
And just goes at it, and
it sounds like a helicopter when it's starting to like fly back in her hand. It's cool.
The sound design for this part is incredible.
Yeah.
I mean, really, I don't have any complaints about how that scene was made, because between the makeup, the sound effects, the lighting, everything about it was phenomenal. It really set the mood, and I thought it was really cool that I mean, in the end, obviously he was talking about, you kill me, you strike me down, then I will live in you. And in the end, she doesn't really end up killing him. She basically ends up just, using those lightsabers to block his attack, and essentially his own powers end up killing himself.
I think she killed him.
I mean, she didn't. That opens
He
up.
pulled a
plot
Mace
hole,
Windu.
but
He pulled a Mace Windu. I mean, Mace Windu was just protecting himself whenever, Palpatine was trying to strike him with lightning. It was essentially just a reiteration of that.
the point was, if she strikes him down, then he lives within her. So essentially what it was, okay, well, how do we kill this person without her actually physically killing him, to where people are like, well, why is he not living inside her? And what she basically does, what she basically does is uses the lightsaber to block the blast. She doesn't physically strike him down. I think in the end, her blocking it and the power he puts into it ends up being the death of himself. I mean, say what you want. Dom thinks that there's going to be more Rey, so
all I'm trying to say is if they are going to go into an episode 10, this would be a good way to open things up.
Right. I mean, it would be, and I would love there to be more.
I would love Dark Side Rey.
I would be ecstatic. Is there going to be more? I don't know. They've made every indication that this is absolutely the last of this story
for now. And Star Wars hasn't done that before, though. I mean, come on.
I mean, not exactly to the extent that they're doing it now. I mean, between the creators and the producers crying on set and the emotion behind everything, it's clear that they had every intention of ending it. Are there going to be ideas that come up of they're going to do more stuff? I hope so. I hope so. But, I am just simply saying that I think it's poetic and just kind of interesting that in the end, in my eyes, I feel like the Emperor his powers almost ended up killing himself, because she didn't physically strike him down. But yeah, and I have no issues with her being the one to do that, because she is arguably the strongest Jedi we've seen in this saga. I mean, she's incredibly powerful, and I think it was great. Originally, I was kind of upset that he died so quickly, but when I watched it the second time, I felt it had incredible emotional weight. And I wasn't really upset with it the second time. I think it was great.
Mm-hmm.
I like it.
Mark, what do you think?
I think it was great. I like it.
Ian, what do you think?
I like it a lot.
A lot.
Yeah, Dark Side Rey, Empress Rey. If this movie had gone the other direction and she would have taken the throne, I personally would have been fine with that.
Yeah, me too.
I would have welcomed that ending if they wanted to go that route. But then if she takes the throne, I don't know what the Rebel fleet does. Then do they destroy the throne? And her,
the Rebels are fucked if she takes the throne.
I mean, if she takes the throne, does Lando and Chewie fly into the Falcon and just blast her out of the seat, or what? I don't know. Or Babu Frick comes in and saves the day, maybe.
Babu Frick saves the day.
Yeah, probably does. Him and 3PO.
Babu Frick kills Palpatine, and Palpatine lives in Babu.
Let's be honest, that would be the most horrifying Sith Lord ever.
He's like this big.
He could sneak anywhere he wanted to and just fucking lightning you to death.
Right. The fight between Kylo and the Knights of Ren, this is where I think that Kylo should not have thrown his lightsaber away, because he needed it then.
He won.
Huh?
Against the Knights of Ren, he won.
Yeah, but I think if he'd have had his lightsaber, it would have been a better contest.
Okay, but go ahead.
of course, you see him again. Of course, he needs a lightsaber because Rey has to give him one of hers. So it's like, okay, well, see, if he'd just held on to his lightsaber, she could have kept two, and he would have had one, and then, Anyway, I digress a little bit, but not really a critique or a complaint. Just kind of me being me here.
A fan nitpick. I get it. I got a couple of those myself.
Yeah, a little nitpick, but I mean, I get it. It's it's a dark side lightsaber. The dark side crystal is in it, or whatever. He wants to get rid of it.
Mm.
I get that, but I teeter on, okay, well, maybe that wasn't the right time to dispose of it. I don't know. But that's all right. No, I loved it though. The interactions between the Emperor and Rey, everything was fantastic. Absolutely stunning, blowing my mind, losing my mind. This is the Star Wars I've been waiting for. You know,
All right.
didn't disappoint. See, hearing the voices. The only thing I will say this, out of all the information that you hear about online and everything that's been leaked and talked about and stuff, we know that certain Star Wars characters filmed scenes to be in this physical presence, and of course that was all hacked out by Kathleen Kennedy. So that would be my one biggest critique on this film is should not have cut out Hayden Christensen, should not have cut out Ewan McGregor. Their presence on screen should have been there, and they blew a missed opportunity for major fan service here, which I personally was dying to see and didn't get.
I'm not disagreeing. What I'm gonna say is I definitely think it's all Disney Plus marketing scheme. I do think we'll get that extended cut. They didn't put any deleted scenes on the Blu-ray. It's the first time they've ever done that. Why wouldn't they have done that? Like if they didn't plan on making an extended cut later, I think that there's gonna
they're
be one
gonna
that
milk
airs.
us for 4 different versions down the road. You better believe it.
Yeah. And I feel like, I don't know, maybe they'll even do some stuff with the prior two in the trilogy. I don't know. I mean, Lucas went back and played with his movies. Why not? But go ahead, Ian.
I don't know if Mark is done, but I actually was curious. So Lucas did come back and he added Hayden Christensen and Ewan McGregor to the end of the 6th one, didn't he?
Yeah.
Okay, that's where I saw it. I'm not gonna lie. I was coming to this podcast. I was gonna be like at the very end of this and be like, where were Hayden Christensen and Ewan McGregor? But now I remember where it was because I watched part 6 on Disney Plus. So that's why.
You. Yeah.
So I was a little confused as to where Hayden Christensen and Ewan McGregor were. But
no, you just hear them. You don't see them here.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So you do see them in part 6, episode 6, though. At the end.
Yes. Return of the Jedi. Lucas added. He didn't add Ewan McGregor. Sorry, in Return of the Jedi. He just added Hayden.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Okay. Anyway, Mark, were you done with your statement before I kind of interjected?
Yeah. By all means, jump in.
Okay, I didn't want to overshadow you.
No, you're good.
So I liked the Knights of Ren fight. I'm still severely disappointed with one thing about this movie. I don't think I made a point about this. I'm disappointed as fuck about the fact that the Knights of Ren weren't like more prevalent.
You did talk about this.
Okay, well, yeah. I'm still disappointed about it. But I liked the idea that with Ben switching over to the light side.
That's a nice chest you got there, Ian.
Piss off. Did you like my
my eyes are up here.
Anyway, I like the fact that because he is in an uncomfortable area in a sense of where he aligns with the Force now, he's also kind of uncomfortable in his fighting stance. Like he was able to dodge some of the moves that the Knights of Ren threw at him, but the rest of them he was like, "Ow, fuck," he's getting hit and shit. And I feel like Dark Side Ben was like, "Okay, I'll dodge and I'll just fucking punch your ass." So yeah. I feel like him switching over to the light side, he was definitely like, "Oh, I'm kind of, like, I feel like I'm relearning at this point." That's how it felt to me, and I can understand why that would feel that way because your sense in the Force is different at this point.
Yeah.
So going on to Palpatine and Rey in the throne room, and Rey being like, "Yeah, psych, bitch, you thought," and then handing the lightsaber over to Ben. I was like, "This is dope. This is awesome. I like the way that they're incorporating this weird connection that they have, this awesome connection they have, I should say, and leading into them kind of fighting Palpatine and him taking it to life. I liked when I watched this last night. That's why I was like, reverse healing. I liked the idea of him being a Sith and being able to take the life force instead of give the life force. So
Right,
I
right.
wonder if he was even able actually to give do the healing thing that the Jedi
I
can do.
personally still think he was. I'm gonna stand by that.
I
I think he's too
I,
much of a dick to help Anakin out. He's not gonna go save Palpatine for Anakin. He doesn't care. He just wanted Anakin. It's like, I'm sorry, like, I stand by. He knew how to do it, 100%.
I I can kind of agree with that, but
Yeah,
I'm just curious as to like what the people who wrote the script and the director would say about that,
yeah,
out of my own curiosity. But I do stand with you on that.
yeah.
Um,
Well, that's actually that would be that would I'd say that'd still probably be a George Lucas question, not a JJ one. I think that would still be a George question, to ask him
I could
if he
that's
feels
fair.
like he created Palpatine in the first place,
Somebody
and that
somebody
idea.
tweet somebody tweet George and ask.
Yeah,
Anyway, so after the whole life force thing, Ben trying to get up and getting knocked into the pit, I was like, well, there goes Ben. He's gone.
yeah,
I was like, Ray wasn't like trying to help him, so obviously she was preoccupied. So I was like, well, Ben's finally gone at this point.
right.
We don't know where he's at. And then the sound design. I mean, Adam nailed that one. The sound design was on point. It was really
Yeah.
cool. And I do have to say, she was deflecting. She wasn't attacking. So
No,
no,
but
she didn't personally kill him.
never mind.
But Babu
It
Frick
wouldn't
did.
make. I mean, to me, it wouldn't make sense if they've blatantly made it obvious that they want the Skywalker saga to be done, and Ian McDiarmid is old. That would mean he would have to come back, and his
No,
voice would have to return, and he's like 80 years old.
Not
no, I
entirely,
don't think he would have
because
to
he'd
come
be
back.
living.
You
He
just
would
think
be
it's
living.
his dark side that lives in Ray, or like the dark side would live in Ray, or that aspect of him.
He essentially becomes Ray, so he wouldn't have to come back.
Yeah,
I mean, let's be real, but at the same time, it doesn't make sense. It doesn't that she's
well,
deflecting and they're wanting to end it like that. Now, if they were trying to go the dark side route and then leaving Ben alive, and then Ben just dips out and everybody else is able to go, and then she's like, she does this whole thing where like, yeah, calling off, we're calling off the star destroyers at the moment. You guys leave and never fucking show yourselves again. And
yeah,
then Ben's with them and he explains like, yo, I'm trying to get good. I'm trying to go down the path mom and dad want me to go down. But
yeah.
I I feel like there's still a possibility of, maybe it did enter her. Maybe we will see a dark side Ray, because I was looking up last night to see if they were planning on doing any other movies, and they said that they were planning on doing some more movies. Now we don't know what they are, but they could start a new arc. Like, where's
No, it
Plagueis?
doesn't mean it's Star Wars Episode 11, but
No, I agree,
yeah.
Right.
I get that, but like, where's Plagueis? You know what I'm saying?
Well,
They make you. They try to make you believe that you're not going to see any of these people again. Like, even when you look at the special features, like the actor, like Daisy Ridley, and like they're all upset that they act like they're not going to be working with each other again. So if they are going to do something again,
I think
I
it's
feel
gonna be
like they're
years down the
probably keeping everybody in the dark about it.
Mm-hmm. Well, here's the
Probably.
thing.
But I feel like it might be something down the line, like way down the line. I
Yeah,
feel like the movies
me
that
too.
I've seen that they're probably planned for
25,
aren't
30
gonna have
years, I would say.
to probably.
I swear, if they wait that long, I'm gonna be so mad and
I
possibly
agree with
dead.
that. I agree with that.
Listen, I mean, here's the thing. I like the ending of this movie. I am perfectly satisfied if they don't continue the Skywalker saga after this. I still want more Star Wars. I like the idea of
Yes,
having
no, I
more
want
Star
more
Wars,
Star Wars.
and I mean, definitely build out those TV shows and streaming series. That's where the money is, if you ask me. Like, I really like that stuff, but no more. No more Skywalker saga films. I'm fine with that. I just
I want to
think
see Plagueis.
it's gonna happen again inevitably, and I think that a good way in is if you do my theory about Palpatine. You know what I'm saying? I just think it's a good way in if they were to do it. It's just
Here's
a
my thing.
possibility.
Say 10 years down the line, because like I said, these are just 3 movies that I've seen that they are planning on. Now, I don't know if this was a reliable source. So if these are 3 movies they're planning on, what if this leads into a Dark Side art, Dark Side Saga. You know what I'm saying?
I don't know. I think it
so
would still
like,
be a continuation of the Skywalker saga.
I don't think so because Skywalker's they in there, and then I mean like yeah, Rey takes the name, but she's not Bloodline Skywalker.
I feel like they had her do that in case they wanted to revisit the saga, though. Personally,
I don't want them to continue it.
anyway,
I want to see Plagueis.
I mean, let's move into the ending though. So yeah,
Oh, hold on.
yeah,
Hold on. Sorry, last thing.
Yeah.
So, Ben crawling out of the pit. Since we're kind of getting to the end here.
all right.
Ben crawling out of the pit, doing the whole kiss her and then like healer thing. That was the part that I felt was a Disney moment.
Oh, I see. I don't.
That felt very Disney. It felt very Disney.
I don't think that's a Disney thing. I think that's a lot more to do with what was being set up this whole time.
I thought that was the least Disney part of
That felt
the
Disney to
movie
me.
because they literally killed someone that you loved.
Yeah. Listen, Ian.
That's not very happily ever after.
Listen, Ian. I'm gonna have a listen. Just let me explain this. So Ben crawls out of the pit, right, and then Rey, he sees dead Rey, and then he goes over there to save her. He puts his life essence into her, kisses her, and yeah, I mean, and this is something Adam. Okay, so I'm gonna let Adam talk about this too, because I texted you after you saw this movie, and you told me, and it changed your whole perspective on this, because I said, and Ian, to your credit, I told Adam, I said a lot of people are gonna complain about that moment, but I don't
have
think
a complaint.
I don't think they
but
really.
I do feel it.
You
Sorry, go on.
complained. I mean, you said it was too Disney for you. I mean, it's fair because a lot of people did, and a lot of people are going to. And my whole point here was that I texted this to Adam that like I think a lot of people are missing the point. What'd I tell you?
Adam is like, I don't remember.
Anyway, so
Were you talking to me?
oh yeah,
Yeah, he was talking to you. He was asking.
Sorry,
he was asking you.
what'd I tell you?
Sorry.
That
Ask
changed
Ask
your
me again.
perspective?
I was distracted.
No, what'd I tell you on the
Oh.
text that changed your perspective?
Oh man, it's been a while.
Well, I'll
But,
start with
let
this.
me
Like,
see if I-
let's start with the Force Awakens deal. In Force Awakens, what Kylo said is to the helmet is he wanted to finish what his grandfather started. And now moving
Right.
to this movie.
Huh.
Yeah. So, yeah. I really liked this bit that Dom helped enlighten me with. Yeah, because he's right. Kylo's whole mission was to finish what his grandfather started, and obviously we know Vader was his grandfather. But really, what was his real mission? What was the point of Anakin becoming Vader? What was the point of him becoming a Sith? The
Protect the ones
point
he
of
loves.
Anakin becoming a Sith was because he wanted to learn and obtain the power to bring people back so he could save his loved ones, because he had watched his loved ones die. He wanted to save his mom who got killed, who it emotionally destroyed him, and then Padme goes and he couldn't save her. And his whole point, the thing that he started, was he went to the dark side to try and keep his loved ones from dying. So in the end, ironically, Kylo thinks that he's finishing what Darth Vader started by basically taking over the galaxy. But what he doesn't realize is, Darth Vader turned back to the light side in the end before he died. And what he was really starting was he was trying to save his loved ones. So the beautiful and most poetic thing about these movies is the fact that Kylo, he did finish what Vader started, because in the end he was able to bring a loved one back. Him and Rey were a dyad in the Force, and essentially they were soulmates, and they clearly had deep feelings towards each other, and they were inseparable. And that showed not only in their powers but in their emotions. And in the end, he was able to bring back somebody he loved, and he sacrificed his life to do so. So not only did he finish what his grandfather had started, but he gave his own life to do so.
Right.
And he was a Skywalker. And, as Dom had said before, all the Skywalkers before him did the same thing. They gave their lives to help somebody else. So
even
whole
Shmi
thing comes full
Skywalker in a
circle.
way too, because a lot of people are going to argue that Shmi Skywalker didn't, and I'm going to argue that she did, and I'll tell you exactly how she
Wait,
did
hold
that.
on.
Because she
Shmi?
allowed her Shmi Skywalker, Anakin Skywalker's mother, because she
Okay.
allowed she allowed Anakin to be freed, right? She was the one that asked Qui-Gon to help him. So if she hadn't just asked Qui-Gon to help him, then she she could have asked Qui-Gon to help her instead of Anakin, right? Or help them both, but she was just so focused on Anakin and her remaining a slave while Anakin was not. While she gave Anakin the opportunity to go out there and have a better life, even a sacrifice, and it ended up leading to her eventual death. So yeah, I say every Skywalker died for the same reason.
I can agree with that.
Yeah.
Okay, that does change my perspective a bit.
Yeah. Mark, what do you think of the ending? Or not the ending, but the the Rey Kylo stuff.
I like it. It's really good.
It's really good.
If only there was-
I Disney moment. I don't know about that. That didn't register to me. Of course, he's gonna kiss her. It's about damn time he kisses her. Like he should have kissed her in the last one, but Ryan Johnson screwed that up. So,
Oh my god!
I
have to agree with Dom at this point.
They're building a relationship. They're building to the moment. Anyway,
I can see where they didn't kiss in the first one, but come on, by the second one, seriously, come on, you
They
guys.
barely knew each other in the second
Get a
one.
fucking room.
They should have had their own scene.
Oh my god!
in-
Will
in
you
this
move
one.
on?
But anyway, yeah, it's about time he kisses her. About time he saves her. That's I mean, you guys pretty much said most all of it, so I don't have a whole lot else to change opinions on that stuff.
I feel that, Mark.
All right, what do you got, Ian?
I already made my point.
Yeah, you kind of did. All right, so moving into the ending, we're going. Go ahead.
I will say my perspective has been changed a bit.
Go.
And Mark, I feel you. They should have got a room, but not on scene. Anyway, let's go.
Yeah, I mean it was crazy to me, and like honestly, that was something that I feel like I picked up on pretty quick, and I felt like a lot of people, like I was reading a lot of stuff about it right when I seen the movie, and I feel like a lot of people had just missed those details. But so I was like, and Adam included, I guess. I mean, everybody included. So I like texted Adam. I was like, I don't think anybody's understanding the point here, but I caught this. You tell me if you feel the same, and he did. And
I think it's
after
one of
saying
those things that, we talk about how there are a lot of elements in these movies that are kind of, they're underlying elements that they don't just shove them in your face. They put them there that hopefully you're going to connect the dots at some point. So I definitely think that this was one of those elements that most people aren't going to necessarily connect the first time. It's something that you kind of got to meditate on.
And who knows, man? It's like we say, this legacy of Star Wars is changing constantly. I mean, this movie might age better too for, a lot of those critics that didn't enjoy it as much. Maybe later on it'll be critically acclaimed as well. It's always changing. So, I hope that's the case anyway, because I really enjoy this film. But moving into excuse me. So moving into Ajan Kloss again. So we're all meeting back. We're having a reunion. I think this is a beautiful moment. I mean, Finn, Rey, and Poe hugging each other is pretty awesome. I mean, it's reminiscent of the celebration on Return of the Jedi, except nobody's dancing at this one. I mean, it's mostly just a lot of people reuniting, hugging, and just like not being able to fathom the fact that they actually lived through all that shit. So pretty impactful and powerful stuff and awesome. And then we get to the epilogue, Tatooine. So Tatooine, I mean, it's so great to be back, obviously, and it makes a lot of sense. Rey would go there. Her yellow lightsaber, awesome. The sound design of the saber is cool. I mean, when she flips it on, it sounds awesome. I like the little spinny thing too that flips the saber on. Pretty awesome stuff. And then she's sledding down on her little trash can top again, and looking at Luke's home. But it's just also beautiful to see again, and this is a really great place to have kind of an epilogue to all this, if you ask me. And And she goes up, and the neighbor comes over with the donkey or whatever she had, and she's asking Ray, who are you? And then says, I'm Ray, and then Ray who? And then she sees Luke and Leia. Pretty awesome moments, and then she looks at the lady and says, Ray Skywalker. So one of the things I'll say here, as far as my opinion, I feel like it was a missed opportunity not to have all three Skywalkers as Force ghosts. I mean, Anakin, Luke, and Kylo. I think that would have worked better than Luke and Leia in that moment. I just find that to be a missed opportunity. Fan nitpick, sure, but missed opportunity. I thoroughly enjoy the fact that Rey took on the Skywalker name. I know a lot of people were divided on that when they came out of the theater. I feel like epilogues typically divide people anyway when it comes to things like that. I mean, it's really hard to stick landings, I feel like. But I thoroughly enjoyed this ending, and then her looking at the binary sun and the Force theme, and the movie's over. Adam, what do you think of the epilogue?
Yeah, the ending of this movie's really cool. I like it. Yeah, the documentary really lets you into the minds of the cast and how emotional they were about the ending of this movie. And
the moment where Ridley did the Rey Skywalker line was incredibly emotional, because she teared up like pretty bad when she had a hard time saying it. Yeah.
I
tearing up talking about it.
Just watching that, I mean I felt some type of way when I was watching it. I felt, man, almost complete sadness.
Yeah.
Like, because watching that documentary, it kind of set on my shoulders the real realization that the Skywalker saga is supposed to be
over
dead.
for now.
It's supposed to be done.
Yeah.
And these are characters that we love, and it's all over. It's all come to an end. And watching how emotional the cast was about it, and especially the emotion of JJ and how proud he was to be a part of it, and the love that he put into the movie, and the care that he took, especially in that last scene where he specifically wanted even the camera over her shoulder on Tatooine to look exactly like it did when we Luke originally, and the musical moments, and it, and then of course her sliding down on her sled is a callback to when we first saw her in this trilogy. So it all comes full circle. It's all beautiful. I don't disagree with you, Dom, on the Force Ghost thing. I think it would have been cool to see the whole lineage of Skywalkers.
Just would have made sense to me, but yeah.
At the very least, see
Hayden,
Anakin, and I would have even liked to see Kylo in there. I mean, I think it would have been cool to see everybody.
Right.
But I understand. Those were the people that she were close with, that were really impactful. They're true Skywalkers. And and then she turns and calls herself a Skywalker, and it's a beautiful moment, and the whole story comes full circle and ends kind of the way that it began.
Yeah, and again, JJ had an impossible task. I'm sure the Force Ghost thing was a discussion about who do we show here at the end. I'm sure that was a whole thing that it was hard for them to decide on, and I'm sure there's a very good reason they decided on those two, and and JJ did. I mean, maybe that was just his gut instinct. I don't know, but whatever. It's still impactful regardless of who they chose to show. Yeah, man, I think it's a really emotional ending, and there's a really good chance that, I love this movie, but I still have more problems with it than the prior two. I mean, but like a lot of critics really didn't like this movie, and there's a really good chance that a lot of people feel very bitter toward this one, because it's one of those things where it is the last chapter, and it does move at such a blistering pace, and now we just kind of feel empty without the Skywalker saga. You know what I mean? There's a very good chance we could have bitter feelings toward it for that reason, and like, maybe once I accept that this is it, because I am such a huge fan, man, and it's like once I accept that this is it, maybe I will be able to enjoy the movie even more than I did this time around, and previously. And anyway, Mark, what do you think of the epilogue, the ending?
Well, first of all, I think that there was a missed opportunity with the reunion of Poe and Ray and Finn. I think
They did have a reunion.
Yeah, but I think they should have added a couple of Ewoks in there.
They did.
So they did.
They're there.
Yes, they were the first thing shown.
Okay, I guess I forgot about that. I was just trying to be funny.
Damn it, Mark.
Damn it. I'm
You were
tired.
so
It's
funny.
a long day. I gotta get up early. So yeah.
Dude, I feel that. on a Monday work
I'll
week.
wrap this up quick though. The epilogue was good. Yeah, they should have had Kylo Ren's ghost there for sure. I can see why they might not have added Anakin there or somebody else, but Luke, Leia, and Kylo's ghost should have definitely been there for sure. More so than Luke and Leia. Like if it was only Kylo's ghost, I would have been fine with that. But
I don't know about that either.
I'm not really bitching. It's not really a complaint. It's just a slight critique.
Right.
This movie is the best of the trilogy. The epilogue, it was fine. She said she's a Skywalker. I thought that was a cool way to end it, cool way to go out. I mean, what's she going to say? I'm a Palpatine. I mean, really, she's not. So,
no, she's not going to say that. Right. Ian, go ahead. Epilogue.
So it was kind of heart-wrenching. Seeing her go back to what's the name of that planet? I can't think right now.
Tatooine. Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Sorry. Thank you.
The sand planet.
one of the 1,000 sand planets. That's the same thing.
The one with the sand in it.
All of them are Tatooine. It was really heart-wrenching. Seeing her go back there, to visit, to see where Luke came from, and to going down that hill, the kickback that Adam talked about, the slide, her kind of smiling about it too. It was kind of like cutesy and whatnot. And then, her, I imagine that she was going there, and I'm not sure if you guys have played Fallen Order at all, but I think she might have the same ability Cal has, which, I mean, it's pretty prevalent as soon as you start playing the game, so I don't feel like I'm spoiling anything. He can sense the echoes of past things happening. I feel like she might have the same thing.
I would imagine so. Yeah.
Well, it's actually supposed to be a rare thing according to the game. I don't know about the rest.
Well, it's still rare if it's only 2 people that we know of, right? I mean.
Yeah, that's true. With how powerful she is, I imagine she has that ability. Yeah. So I imagine that she's getting a bit of echo, seeing things. I mean, isn't there a point where you can hear kind of some stuff in the background? I don't remember because I was pretty tired last night.
I don't think so. But
okay, I imagine she's seeing some things. Is what the idea is, and then she buries the lightsabers. That I was like, oh man.
Yeah, that's pretty cool effect too. Is the lightsabers going down in the sand? I really enjoyed that.
Was that a practical effect, or is that like? Did they do some things for that?
I actually can't answer. I would doubt it.
Fair enough,
but it's possible.
So, that was kind of neat. I liked that. I'm not gonna lie. I was like, what if somebody ever comes here and tries to scavenge some shit, and they find these?
Ooh, there's a thought.
Yes.
There's a thought.
You like that thought? You liked that thought
I did a lot. That was good. I like that idea for an 11.
Yeah, I was watching it last night. I'm surprised they came up with the idea of that last night. But like, that would be kind of neat if they if somebody came through and scavenged these items
good
and
job,
they somehow
sir.
still found their way.
I
that would make
that
Dom
idea.
go yippee.
Yes, it would.
He'd be like boner time. Anyway.
Yeah.
Anyway, so that was kind of it was heart-wrenching to see her bury those and see them go, possibly only for 10 years. Anyway, the Skywalker thing, I really feel like Hayden Christensen should have been part of it, and hands down, Ben should have been there.
Yeah.
Ben, I mean, like out of everybody, Ben should have been there.
I
Yeah,
agree.
he gave his life force, but at the same point, he faded like he went into the flow of the force as well.
Yeah, definitely.
So, at the end, I felt like it ended off perfectly. Yes, it was a blistering, fast pace, but I feel like it took that pace because it wanted us to feel that emptiness, but still fullness at the same time. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, uh, you guys play video games, so I mean, like, you ever play a video game that just kind of like it makes you kind of sad after the first, like, at the very end. You're
Jedi
like, you're
Fallen
playing.
Order.
I haven't finished it yet. I haven't finished it yet.
I love that
I'm-
game, but I was so sad when it ended because it's like, oh man, I want to keep playing it, because the
I'm
story's
currently-
over. It's
I'm currently on the second planet, and I should be getting on the ship to go to the next planet.
a
But,
hefty game. You got a ways to go.
oh, I'd imagine. I just got it like a couple days ago, and
Yeah.
I've not had any time to really put into
I beat it in 3 days. I'd imagine you might too. So
Yeah, maybe.
yeah,
I mean, if I actually have the time.
right.
But no, I feel like it's supposed to give you that emptiness, and it's like it's over, and that's what it's supposed to bring you to tears, because that's what like Kingdom Hearts 2 did for me. Even though we knew Kingdom Hearts 3 was coming, but Kingdom Hearts 3 was garbage.
Yeah,
Kingdom Hearts 2, when I play through that, I get emotional every time because I'm just like, this is the end of the series that was good. This part of the series that was good, because the rest of it's shit.
right.
But I feel like that was the emotion that they were trying to replicate,
Yeah, definitely. So
and
guys,
I feel like they did a fantastic job.
oh, absolutely, guys. Listen, this is the end of the Skywalker saga. This is gonna be the last time we're talking Star Wars here, but I mean it is the end of the Skywalker saga, so it's been awesome to talk about all these. I'm gonna start with Mark. Mark, you came in obviously for the first time on the last one, for the Last Jedi, but your closing statement on all this, and where can people find you?
All right. Be sweet to Mark Instagram. And I will do a closing statement on all of the saga because I missed some of these.
Sure.
Anyway, this trilogy, had its highs and lows. The high for me was this last one. My favorite of the 3 films for sure. The second one, not so much, but it did have some good moments. I didn't hate everything about it. First one, loved everything except for Han dying. Pretty much that, but that's a big downer. That was huge. That was huge for me. I did tune in and watch some of the podcast talk on the prequels that you guys did. Had quite a big difference of opinion on that. We could talk all night, but I won't. Just gotta say that I liked the prequels. My favorite of the prequels was Revenge of the Sith, of course.
Yeah.
I think that was consensus of yours as well. But I liked all 3 prequels. I liked Episode 1. It had Darth Maul. It brought us Darth Maul, which to me is one of the best characters in this whole Star Wars universe. So
I don't disagree.
Preach.
you got that. So and then of course the original is always going to be my favorite and near and dear to my heart. So
Right on, man. Ian, you came in on Force Awakens, but closing statement, and where can the people find you?
I'm gonna start with the closing statement. Real quick, the be sweet to Mark. It kills me every time.
Oh.
But
that's right.
He has a shirt that says it. It's pretty awesome.
oh my God, is it on your Instagram?
I think it is, right?
I believe there is a photo of
Just send me
me and my friend Emilio wearing the shirt on Instagram. Yes, I'm pretty sure.
Okay. Just in case, send me the picture, please, because I want to see this.
Yeah.
But
Okay.
closing statement. So for this trilogy, I like it. I want to say I love it, but I still have some gripes about the second one. The second one, I feel like coming into it the second time, I really enjoyed it way more than I did when I watched it in theaters. Well, technically it was like my third or fourth time watching it whenever we talked about it, but I coming into it the second time, or the second with this open mind, I enjoyed it so much more than I did the first time. Um, Rose still an annoying character, and my statement from the last one still stands. If you guys feel the need to send death threats over stupid shit like that, then you need to rethink your life and get off social media. The third one, it's my favorite. I love it. It's heart wrenching. It's fulfilling. It is fast. I do agree. Um, it's a fantastic watch. It's a fantastic ending to the whole series. And then the prequel series, I enjoy it. I killed myself in the second one, as a kid. The original series, near and dear, as Mark said. It's hard to get through if you watch the prequel series first. So I do hand down suggest, if you are new viewers to this and you decided to spoil yourselves and watch this podcast, watch the original trilogy first, because it's going to be so hard to get through if you watch the prequel trilogy. Outside of that, you can find me at Jutacular Ian on Instagram. I keep saying, I'll probably plug my YouTube. Dom, I'll actually send you my YouTube channel for this, because I'm going to start uploading
Cool.
within the month. And thank you guys.
All right. Adam, you've been with me since the beginning talking Skywalker Saga. Closing statement, and where can the people find you?
I liked it. I'm just kidding.
It was cool.
It was cool. I liked it. All in all, not bad. No, this movie is also my favorite of the three. I think the first of the trilogy, I've got a lot of really fond memories I'll never forget of the hype and going to the theater and the excitement of the nostalgia and everything. Love that movie. Obviously, the second one is the most problematic to the majority of us. But I liked it a lot more this last time that I watched it. I think it has a lot of redeemable qualities that I didn't see before. And if you don't get off of my desk and stop trying to eat my tacos. Yeah, so it's this movie is just it's very exciting, it's very emotional, it's a cap on the whole Skywalker saga, so it makes you feel some type of way. And in some way, for me personally, I find it to be one of the most entertaining Star Wars movies to watch. Period. It's entertaining. I mean, at its core, it's beautifully shot. The effects are wonderful. The sound effects are amazing. The how far we've come with technology is incredible. And the amount of information that they pound into these movies and still make them flow is very impressive. And obviously, I'm gonna miss the Skywalkers, but that's a part of getting old.
Yeah.
You got to say bye to stuff at some point. And this movie, to me, I felt it wrapped it up pretty decently, and I've had a lot of fun rewatching them, a lot of fun talking about them.
Yeah.
So
Hell yeah. And Twitter and Instagram, go ahead and plug that. It's Red Eclectic at both, I believe, right?
yeah, the Red Eclectic, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, all that.
Very good. All right, so I'll go ahead and give my closing statement. So first of all, I want to thank you guys, just for hanging out. Ian, Mark, Adam, it's been awesome. I mean, Adam especially for sticking with
Thank
me
you.
with this from the beginning, talking about these films. Yeah, so listen, we criticize all these at one point or another. There's always criticisms to be had. But the fact is, it's Star Wars. It holds a special place in our hearts. This movie did a fantastic job, kind of hitting on everything and honoring everything that came before, for sure. And that is something that I can't overlook about it. And I'm always going to love this movie for that, at least. A lot of fans kind of ruined the experience for me, you know, leading up to it, because they were very negative, and that sucks. It sucks to be in that kind of headspace when you're trying to get excited about a Star Wars movie. Then you're on the internet and something just brings you down. An article you read, a YouTube video, whatever you may come across. But that said, yeah, listen, I mean, we talked about them all up until this point in this saga. I'm gonna say at this point, my least favorite's the Phantom Menace for sure. My right under that, I'm gonna put Attack of the Clones. Shoot, right under that, I'd probably put Return of the Jedi. And then above Return of the Jedi, I mean, I would put Revenge of the Sith.
I think I just saw Mark's soul leave his body.
Yeah, I think so too.
Mark pooped himself. Mark didn't have to get up to poop himself for this one.
I'm sorry. Above Return of the Jedi, I would put Rise of Skywalker. Above Rise of Skywalker, I'd put Revenge of the Sith. Above Revenge of the Sith, I mean, I would then probably put Force Awakens. And then it's going to be moving into Last Jedi, then A New Hope, and Empire. I mean, those are my top three still to this day. They've all been fun to talk about. Prequel trilogy, that's, you know, still my least favorite of the trilogies. My favorite's still the original trilogy, just in terms of the cohesiveness of the trilogy. I feel like they did a better job there. Not that the sequels weren't cohesive. I feel that they are still very cohesive with one another. And everything else that came before, I just feel like the original trilogy is the best of the three trilogies. Anyway, thank you to the viewers. Thank you to Mark, Adam, and Ian again. We will still continue to talk about Star Wars here on Dom's Corner. So be sure to like this video, hit that subscribe button below, leave some feedback in the comments section. Next week, we're going to be doing the Clone Wars animated film, so that should be very interesting. I think that's a film we all agree is very bad. But
I have not watched that in forever.
all right, well, it's on Disney Plus, so get ready. So moving into to wrap up the podcast, as always, I'll leave my social media information in the description below, and we're gonna end it. So thank you guys for tuning in, and I will see you guys. This airs on Wednesday. I'll see you guys again on Saturday. Thanks for stopping by. Appreciate it. Bye bye.